Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome once again to another Asylum Star Citizen podcast. It is, of course, still Monday. It was last time we came on as well. It is Monday. It is time for another Asylum podcast. Good evening, and I hope you're all ready. I know we should have some music. That is a very good idea. I'll look into that along with everything else. I mean, I thought we could have elevator music, boom, boom, boom. Or,
we can't reuse. I've done it before, where we've done it before, and of course it immediately gets muted on the recording. So then when we have issues with like to look back on the video, sometimes they give you that huge chunk of red at the beginning, so there'll be none of us talking at the beginning, which is probably a good thing for some people on YouTube. They're always grumbling about the first section being nonsense. So yeah, we'll do it. Just look, we got audio, okay? Like, what more do you want? We're actually able to have audio in sync.
Yeah,
like it's the small things. Celebrate the victories here. We'll get to that really hard thing, putting music at the beginning eventually. God, blimey, honestly, what more do they want?
Try and get professional. That's it.
9:10. We're on time. 2 weeks in a row. We're here again.
I suppose at least we now know what Star Citizen feels like. No matter what you do, there's always someone piping in, wanting an extra feature.
Unhappy. Unbelievable. Just... So, we were just saying, Miz and I were saying last night when we were chatting, we were playing Revenant Ashes, and we were having a chat about, which was actually really good. I actually was really enjoying it. I'd rather be doing that. I'm going to be honest, chat. I love you guys, but I'd rather be playing that than doing this right now. No, I'm only joking. That's why we're going to cut this. We're going to do this in 45 minutes as quickly as we can, so we can get off and finish killing some bosses, because it's a really good game. The thing we were saying we were saying just as we were enjoying doing the show again back to back, we're now about to have the PTU, and now they've gone. Star Citizen's going to go quiet again on information for, was it 2 weeks or is it 3 weeks? Is it 4 weeks?
It's about 3 or 4. It's the 24th of October, I think. I know.
I want that job. Jared has got the best job. He gets 4 weeks off, and I guarantee there will be nothing of real newness to enjoy in those 4 weeks, unless there's maybe Jared will be like put on an Evel Knievel spacesuit or something and do something crazy when he comes back. That's the sweetest gig. 4 weeks off. Blimey.
It's like being back at school again when they have like half term and summer term and everything else. It's like they never end.
This is not even that. It's not like a half term. This is summer off every half term. It's like the greatest gig in the world. The greatest gig in the world. So yeah, it's kind of a shame. We were kind of like, but we will be faced with the wonderful 3.7. So hopefully we'll probably maybe not do the podcast. We'll probably do live streaming, I think, of us playing it on the Monday instead. I think that will probably be what we'll do. So unless there's something Chris does crazy,
if we get significant information, we'll talk about it. But yeah,
I think we'll probably spend the 4 weeks more than likely, playing, chatting, maybe doing that kind of stuff. So depends on the state of 3.7. I don't know about you, because you can't talk too much about it because you're Evocati, but from what I hear, most people are looking forward to it, are excited about it. I haven't heard. Most people think it's going to be pretty good in terms of like stable. It's got a few new features, the mining, and I think overall it's going to be a good one. I think. I don't think 3.6 was a disaster, but I definitely, this one's going to be better. And we might come out today. Has it come out today?
Sorry.
This is like silence.
Sorry.
Is it out yet?
Is it
out yet, chat?
Like, I think so far, actually, people seem to be enthusiastic for 3.7, shall we say. I suppose they were for 3.6 as well. I mean, I think in some ways this patch will depend a little. It's not going to be the God patch, if anyone's still thinking or wondering. There is no such thing.
Yeah. God patch. It's God year, maybe. That's what that is. A good year. I call it the good year, not the God year. We're so far
like those worn tires. Yeah. So I think what will maybe save the patch, if that's probably the right thing to say, would be obviously these shared missions, and it's so sharing missions is great, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But it's more about a case of actually if these missions work, because there's really no point sharing missions and then none of them still working because you can't get them to work when solo. So this is going to be the big thing, I think. If shared missions work, I think you might see a little bit more interest in getting some of your friends together, grouping up, actually completing missions together and stuff. And then we've got things to talk about. There are some things coming like ship rentals, the mining, and things like that. And like I said, how well it works will vary on then how playable it is. And I think we may get more than a week, but whether we'll get to last us till 3.8 is a different matter.
It depends. See, I think that's genuinely a personal preference on what you enjoy. But I agree completely. Like, it has to work in order for it to have the longevity, especially the multi-crew aspect. Because if that is a buggy mess, like crew, joining up and as is just now, you know what I mean? If it breaks things, and like if you have to be like, oh, you can only be together like as 2 people so you can get reward, you can't be like 4 people or 5 people, or I mean, do we know how many people that can group up? Is it, is there a limit? Is it 50? Could 50 people group up on one mission and all get paid? I'm assuming that would be how it would work, right?
Is there a group limit at the moment?
I don't know. I've never actually pushed it. Does anyone know? Actually,
I've been in small groups.
Rex would probably know. I've never really had. I don't have that many friends. No, I've never had that many people together. But just to know, it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, exactly. Getting your friends together, complete 2,000 missions, and getting paid 500. Yeah, well, is that what it is, though?
Well,
Zeus?
it is.
Or is
but
it?
We'll talk.
Is it?
No, we'll talk about it in a minute. Because we've got a section on it, so we will get down to that.
Okay,
so
we'll get down to it.
Because there's other things to go linked with that, which But so for now, let's try not to go down that one.
We want to be positive. We do want to be positive because it is a new patch, and we don't want to be like a salt fest. But we will point out BS if we smell it. But the worry, I do have worries, obviously, because it's got to work nicely. It doesn't have to be perfect. I expect bugs, but it does. When you do like the quantum the quantum jumping when you team up together and jump. Like all I heard the other day when I was watching Detox play was, "Oh my god, I'm going to break. It's going to kill me. It's going to crash. It's going to every time." And he's like, "Oh, maybe are we doing a quantum linking? Are we doing a quantum? No, we can't do a quantum linking. It'll break." All I heard was that, and I'm like, "This is meant to be a gameplay where you mechanic that you work
this is
together
exactly
to
what
do something?"
This is exactly what I said before, though. It's like they put the mechanic in, and I don't know if it ever worked that well, but they put the mechanic in, and it's like everyone's going, "Oh yeah, we got the quantum linking. That's just what we wanted." And then even though it's broken, they don't go back and carry on fixing it. They don't. It's sitting there. Like they can tick it off their list that they've implemented it. They've kept their promise. They've stuck it in. And what's funny as well is they want to put things in a more polished state, but if it starts off polished and then breaks, they don't seem to be worried about it then. It's like, oh, well, it's broken now. They don't think, oh, no, I've got to go back and fix it because it's broken. It's just literally like, well, it's like almost like first impressions, which is, again, something I was going to talk about a little bit later on there, because there's some things that they're doing that I feel like kind of restrict stuff because of the first impressions that they're going for all the time. But yeah, I
think we'll give them I'm going to give them the benefit to show to me when they do this new split development thing, because Zeus was kind enough to explain a little bit more to it. So that we should, in theory, give them a better chance to do better polishing. So hopefully these features should be better. But I'm wondering, is that coming in for 3.7 or is that coming in for 3.8? Or is that coming in for 3.9 or is that coming in for 4.0? Does anyone know when this new thing has taken effect?
Well, that's what I said to Buck. It's kind of like, well, if they've released 3.7 and it's buggy, it's going to be like, oh, no, it wasn't this one. It's going to be the next patch. I promise. It's the next patch. Yeah. So it's like, it's take it as it is, because 3.7 is going to come out like the most polished turd you've ever seen.
We'll see. But I mean, I'm looking forward to that aspect for sure. If it works, and I'm going to go with, I think it will work. I think they will want it to work. But if sometimes though, it's not that it doesn't work the first time they implement stuff. Like, it does work. Like, EMP worked pretty well for a while, you know, and other things like work pretty well when they first put them in. But like you said, it's more when they get to like the second or the third patches where they haven't touched it and those bugs have started to creep into that mechanic. It's like that's when sometimes it can start to get really painful. Like the UI, we've seen no real work on it because they want to really overhaul it. So you just have to deal with the pain of being an alpha and having the knowledge that that's just going to get worse and worse and worse until they fix it. So we'll see. But let's go on. Let's talk about the RSI Mantis, because we had a 2-week the slowest and 3.7, right?
What Mantis?
Did we get a
okay,
Q&A
well, we'll
about
start
it?
off with the saltiness.
Big one.
So just a little salt warning, everybody. Like last week, we moaned and said it was a really slow reveal. I think I tweeted out and said it's probably the worst marketing thing I've seen for a while. Not the worst I've ever seen, because there's lots of shit marketing. And we're here a week later, and there's still now there is information about it. And it was released, so there's loads of different parts of this. It was released
How much is
to...
it? Can you buy it?
It was released to a gaming magazine or something. Why they got a scoop on it rather than just telling the backers, I don't know. And then secondly, what's even worse is if you go to Star Citizen website now, you can't find any mention of the Mantis unless you go to Comlink, and then you scroll all the way down to where they first announced it and it said coming soon. You can click that and it still just says coming soon. There's no information about it. So it's like they hyped it up, they told you, then they finally released some information, and then it's just out the window. So it's like, what are you doing? What is the marketing team? We don't know, because they haven't released that sort of information. There is none of that information yet. So it's literally tell you about it. It's like waving a sweet in front of your face, then throwing it out the window and just saying, forget it. Pretend it didn't happen. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they're doing. And I can't actually find a link to the news article where they have given us information on the RSI website. It's not on there. The only way you can get to that news article is by going via... Well, they sent it out in a newsletter, so if you're not signed up to a newsletter, you're not going to see it. Or Googling it. I had to Google it to start off with, and then I did find it was actually in the newsletter. But it's crazy. How can you haven't... Anyway.
But the thing is, I've just looked to try and search. I've gone into Comlink, and maybe this is just me. I mean, I'm logged in. I've gone channel, all series. I'm in Comlink. Typed in Mantis. There is nothing.
No, because it's not even
through space.
Because
your oxygen tank slowly depletes.
According to the RSO website, it's still not announced. Like, it doesn't tell you it's the RSI Mantis. It still just says coming soon. Right? There's nothing there.
So here's the question. So is that? So, but then they told obviously a newspaper article. Now,
so give me a moment.
Did the newspaper article screw CIG? Were they supposed to release it later? You know what I mean? I don't know, because you know, at the end of the day, newspaper articles can be naughty sometimes. You know what I mean? Was this an interview that was supposed to be released at a certain date and they jumped the gun, and someone got hold of it, or? I mean, I'm being generous here with that one.
I honestly
being generous.
I wonder if, because we all started saying after the first week, this is a terrible reveal, what the hell are you doing, whether that forced their hand to push it earlier. But even if the magazine, because this happened before, like they've released information and then they've pulled it off. Like you've seen a website that's released the information and then they quickly take the page down. Or even though people have the snapshot, they do normally tell them to take it down. Now, even if let's presume they did release it early and it wasn't intended, and then you tell them that that's okay, they can leave their article up, then surely you just push your whole campaign forward a bit and stick it up on the website so that people can, I mean, at least put the link to this so people can find the information, right? You don't just pretend it hasn't happened. And then on top of that, like, you can't find it. It's just stupid. I mean, even if it wasn't intentional, even if they released the information, who on earth does a 2 to 3 week fucking reveal campaign of a ship, which was revealed
not
after the first week, but not revealed properly? Like, who?
Yeah. But did they have we even like they did their campaign, but was it even on the RSI? Did they even do any speed? Was there a special on it at all in the last 2 weeks, like a video? Have we had the
No.
video yet? Because it's not
And now they're
released
going
yet, right?
away. So, I mean, we probably
they're
are
away,
going to get a
so-
video, but we're not going to get an Star Citizen on it because they're away. So,
I'm like, why? We get an advert, maybe. Maybe there's an advert coming.
probably. We'll probably get a pre-recorded video next week in replace of ICS, whatever the fuck it's called. ATV. Why did I just...
There you go. Ballista, 2 hours before CIG released any info, GameStar revealed all info 2 hours before.
That's 2 hours before, though.
That's 2 hours. I think I mean, again, I don't like that though. I still never been a fan of it, but I get why they kind of do it. It's like, you ever seen that West Wing show? We have like the press, like with the thing. I mean, I don't know how realistic that is, okay, but I think it's fairly realistic. Where they, you have the press and the press secretary and everyone, and they kind of like, you might throw little bones out to people to kind of, in return for things. So I sometimes think that they do that to try and kind of like, I get that. They keep that little bit of relationships and things kind of going.
At the end of the day, this is still alpha. This is not even in early access. Like, we're worrying about image to these gaming magazines, which is just pointless at this moment in time.
Well, there is no the image. The image is in the toilet, and if you think you're changing
they
your
don't
image
know
by showing
that.
that you're selling more spaceships in your spaceship
But
game,
that's what I mean.
then
It's
you
not
are
even.
deluded.
It's not even as if it's an article about a future patch which has got cool stuff coming. Like, say, No Man's Sky, when they released, like, say, the VR patch, which was a huge addition to the game. You're selling and you're giving an article about a ship you're selling to a magazine.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that about? It's the whole thing. It's just terrible. And that's what I mean. It's my opinion, and you guys may have thought, what a fantastic campaign, what a fantastic idea. But my opinion, this is turning out to just get a worse and worse marketing campaign than when I first thought when I was waiting for a week. It's just terrible. Just absolutely terrible. So that's the salty bit.
49 million
out the way.
49 million spent well so far. Then is what you're saying.
Yeah. The marketing team are brilliant. So
we don't even know who they are. I'm curious, actually. Do we know who the marketing team actually is?
No.
Do they even have like a job? Do they even have like a listing of like staff? Do they even have a job? Do they even have a listing so you can see like a structure, so like what everyone's job is, like what their title is, and what, you know what I mean? Is there like a tree anywhere? Is there one anywhere?
Possibly somewhere.
If someone works at CIG or knows one, can they just like get me that? I would love to see that, so I could like have the names and circle all the staff, like how many people are in different departments doing what, No, not hit list. No, God, no, never, no. Just to kind of like go, okay, understaffed, normal.
Yeah, I
understaffed,
mean, because we know
overstaffed,
you can
know what I
kind of
mean?
grasp some things by, like how many jobs they're advertising. So, like, and they've said it before. Sometimes, like their animation team and stuff, they need more staff. As far as I don't know, the marketing team seems to keep changing who's. But then I don't know if this is linked to what part of the marketing team it's linked to, and that. So whether this has changed or whether it's the same thing, I don't know who pulls the strings for the ideas of these concept ships and releasing them and that.
Does it come from one place? Does it come from? I mean, because like I know that, like in Shoesons, for example, like there's not a team that we didn't have a marketing team. We only recently acquired one, and they're doing stuff, but I still get tasked with doing little bits here and there, you know what I mean? When it's proper amateur hour, and perhaps this is what this is a little bit, it's like, it's not the main team that's done this. This is like a separate little team, maybe in LA or wherever, where the ship was made. They just said to them, we need you guys. The other guys are too busy working on Squadron 42 stuff or working on something more important. They haven't got the resources at the time. We need you guys to come up with a cheap campaign to do it. And that's potentially the reason why that's what this is. This is why it smells of like nothing like some of the other ones.
I think it's just someone thought this was a good idea. That's what I think it boils down to. It's kind of like when you watch adverts on TV and then you see some adverts and it's like, oh wow, they've really employed someone that's done a really good job there, or they've had more time to do it. And then you see other adverts and it's just like, oh my god, who even signed this off, let alone it be made in the first place? And I think, to me, I think it's just that someone thought this was probably a good idea. I mean,
I don't want to go on it too much because I think, like, honestly, sometimes we all make mistakes. We all do think sometimes this could have been on paper sounded amazing, and then it turned into a pilot. It could have been the same line art that Jar Jar Binks was on. Do you know what I mean? Maybe they saw the Jar Jar Binks and they thought they were writing on the back of that idea. On paper that seemed like maybe a good idea. Kid show, weird dude talks funny. It's going to be funny, get the laughs for the kids, but turned into a bit of a laugh. Maybe this is the same. But
anyway, like I said,
that's my view on that one. I just kind of. I just want to know why still don't have the price of the ship. That's why I'm
because
like, why
they
is
haven't
it still not released?
officially announced the ship. That's why we have no officially announced it. Okay, so anyway, so that part aside, the new ship. Let's talk about the RSI Mantis and what it is and what it does.
So you tell the fans, you tell the chat out there what you think.
With the new ship, obviously, we get new game mechanics that come with it. So, like you said, someone said in chat, like it's kind of because they're making their job harder by deciding to give us a new ship and a new mechanic in a patch that wasn't. Anyway, don't worry about that. So, this is a quantum enforcement ship. It's going to be straight to flyable. It has a QED, which is a quantum enforcement device in the middle of it, which is the big red thing that you see that goes off. And basically it has two jobs. One of them is the quantum dampening, which is before like a pre-jump. So before anybody jumps, it will you can fly within to about 2,000 range, turn this device on, and it should stop. It's like an on-off toggle, so it's like always on, or they turn it and it's off, and it means that it will stop people from jumping if they're within that 2k range. Then the second thing it does is a quantum snare, and this is like, you just imagine a big net that you put out, and it's about 10 to 20k, I think they said, radius on it. And then that will, it uses a lot of the power of the ship, but it will pull people out of quantum as they're jumping. So, yeah, this is obviously got a lot of people discussing and moaning, and some people happy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is one of those ones where my first reaction is they're selling a spaceship for something we can already do in theory in game, and we could do better with weapons.
Not really.
Yes,
you could stop people jumping. You can't pull people out of quantum at the moment.
Okay, so when the game, I'm going to be curious to see how that works.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to be curious to see how you're going to stop people from quantum jumping, like with your net of, what was it, like 20,000?
20,000.
Like how you're going to pull? How are you going to? Where you're going? Like, how are you going to pull people out with that? I'm really curious how you're going to do that.
So, I mean, my opinion on this is, obviously the whole point is you kind of, like most people say, for example, you pull out of Port Olisar and you want to go to Yela, you go up out the station, you don't fly anywhere. Technically, you turn around, you find Yela, and then you go forward. So you start learning the more obvious routes that people go. I think there's also supposed to be something on the ship where it will detect a certain amount of trade lanes, so you can see. I don't know how they're planning on making this work, so you can kind of see some of the trade, some of the routes people are going. So
okay, I'm listening.
Okay, so
I'm still struggling.
Well, it's a big area, and it's like, well, no, what you might do is you might pull it out near a station, so you know someone's going in roughly that direction to a station, so you could get a few of these ships circling the station to get them before they reach the station. Anyway, if it's not that easy to do, that's good. It means that people may well use it to just sit in trade lanes, like well-known trade lanes, which are meant to be safe for blah blah blah. But anyway, so space is big. Who knows? This is going to be tinkered, whether they change things or not. I mean, so there's multiple points on this as well. But so the first thing is, a lot of people are calling it the troll ship because they don't believe that they just think it's a way to gank people and pull them out or stop people jumping, and it's unfair. On my opinion on this, I actually disagree. Which I know I'm not a massive PvP player, But I disagree with that judgment on it. I mean, I played a game, I've talked about it many times on this podcast, but a game called Jumpgate. And part of what happened in Jumpgate is you used to get people that would block certain... So unlike this game where you're free to open, like you just said, it would be difficult to actually pull somebody out. But in Jumpgate, you would fly from gate to get across space. So people kind of knew where you're going. You would follow routes. There'd be alternate routes, but you would follow a route. And pirates, what they would do is they would blockade between two jump gates and say, right, if you come through this jump gate, they then charge you, or they either let you through and charge you money, or if you refuse to pay it, they shoot you, or you can try and fly through. And I think for this mechanic, I think it's great. It's a great, in the long run, a great mechanic for pirates to be able to use if they want to hold down a certain section, like I said, or a station. If they get a few of these dotted around, they could pull you out and charge you for doing it and then letting you go. I think the problem we kind of have now, it's another one of those, it's a mechanic that's been introduced to the game that's probably not needed at this point in time. And I think that's the difficulty, because at the moment we've got limited stuff. People already ship camp, pad camp, and push people, like suicide into pads. So I think it probably will get exploited a lot at the moment. So I think at the moment it's more trolly, but I think in the long run, I think it's a good mechanic. It's something that will involve different gameplay. It will involve you. So like in Jumpgate, we used to be, if people blockaded a section, we would have to call in support. So if there was a big pirate squad, you either avoided and went a different route, and people would report that around, or you would go into a sector chat and say, look, I need help, there's pirates here, and all of a sudden you'll get a resistance build up and people all start coming. And then, like they said with this quantum thing, if it pulls a group, someone that's linked in a quantum jump, it'll pull everybody out. And so you go quantum jumping in a big group of fighting ships, and you get pulled out of quantum. They've got to then face a blockade breaker once it's been pulled out of quantum. So it gives you like a way to go and then attack this blockade. So
is that NPC or is that human?
In which way?
I mean, when you were describing the game that's waiting for you, was that humans or was that NPCs?
In the game I was playing, it was NPCs. Sorry, no, it was humans. It was players. Players. They had a pirate org, and they decided to block jump gates. They sometimes block stations, that sort of thing.
These were fixed routes in terms of you couldn't come at it from different necessarily from
you
when
could
you come out at the end. So they caught you at the end, like what means like a web.
Yeah.
They were like a web at the end between the 2 points, like in Eve. You'd have a jump point here and a jump point here, like a map star, like a connect the dots.
Yeah.
And then when you come out of that end, then you have to move to another jump gate, and then that then jumps you to another location. Between that area there would be in Eve. Often people would set up all these massive bubble things that would trap you, and then as soon as you flew through them, it set them off, and you're stuck in the mud, type of slow moving. And then suddenly you get shit tons of people suddenly, decloak and jump on you, and you'd be like, I just wanted to come this way because it was quicker, and they know that. But Star Citizen is going to be. But that's still catching you at the end or between jumps. Yeah. This sounded like you're trying to fly, like you just said, like, I'm guessing he's going to come out from here. I'm going to take a left. That's the shortest route. So I'm going to fly for 30 minutes in that direction, twiddling my thumbs until I'm way away. And then I'll set up my net so that then when that person then flies through that, in theory, he will then be broken there. That's kind of, so that's like, you are kind of fishing effectively in an enormous lake, trying to catch fish. Exactly. That's kind of like the way that is. And if it's that difficult, forgive me for thinking I don't think it's gonna work.
But then that's okay though, isn't it? Like if people want to use it, they can. But it's not going to be a troll ship if it's that difficult. Like what's it matter? Like if it's going to happen so infrequently because it's such a big space, what does it matter that's not that helps balance it, doesn't it? Because it means it's not an overpowered ship. If it was so obvious, then it would make it more powerful, wouldn't it?
I personally, I understand and agree with what you're saying in terms of it makes it pointless. And again, that's like why I look at the ship and go, I'll never buy it. And I look at it and go, they're trying to sell me something that's, in my opinion, dodgy as fuck. But I just think that the weapons could do a better job. You could, if you could do other things, they could do other ways. I don't know. I just think that game mechanic just doesn't feel quite like you said. It's like I can't see it work. Like I don't want to go too much into it because I need to see it actually in game.
Well, don't forget. I mean? So Zeus is saying like the range isn't big enough and stuff. Like, there's no point really getting too bogged down in those sort of stats, because that will be shit that they'll change. If 2000 is too shallow and like nothing's really working, they will up that. It will be like a 5000 range, 6000 range. That's all part of balancing.
Then you've but the balancing on this game, this is what I mean. Like, the balancing on this ship for me is kind of weird, because I thought about it and I was like, if you then make the ship so that it gets really big range, and you then can catch people from too far away, you then have really horrendous kind of like fighting scenario, because then you really are getting a bit of a troll ship, because people can then catch you from a long way away, and then if they do fly with their friends or whatever, they'll just pounce on you, and you're like, you will watch the tears. Tears will flow.
Yeah, but so what you're saying is that
Spectrum.
it shouldn't, like, that's the problem then. That is part of the balance. So how effective should it be? Like, you don't want it so that it's literally stopping every single trader, but you do want someone that's organized to be able to do it.
No. And look,
Anyway,
I honestly, I think this is going to be like EMP again. I think what will happen is this is my view on it. They'll put it in, it'll be overpowered or it'll be useless. One of those two things won't work very well, and so it'll either be the Mantis will become a CCU ship. Is what my fundamental view on this was. People will buy it. It won't really work very well. They'll probably shelf it for the time being. And then maybe when like you said, when we get bigger jump gates and jumper points, maybe along down the line, people who do still maintain it will suddenly find a cool little niche in 3 years' time that the Mantis is this cool ship. That's kind of like how I foresee that ship. I just think that it will be nerfed like EMP hard if it does, because there are too many people who play the game at the moment are so many cargo running people. And if they think that this will get the PvP players back again, the right type of PvP players, then they're doing it all wrong, because you're going to get the wrong type if you get back with this. You're just going to get the wrong type.
They may well think it's going to make more combat, but the combat's not going to come unless combat's good. That's what's stopping people, not that mechanic. I think it's hard to judge. Like you said, I mean, the whole point is it's, say, tier 0 of the implementation, right? So I'm talking more about the theory of what the ship does. And I think it's not a bad thing to have. I think it's having pirates being able to use this to capture people. There's lots of different things you can do to restrict it. Lots of ways of making it not so valuable, or not necessarily, like to counter it. So personally, I think as a mechanic, it's something that could possibly come in and possibly work. It depends on how they handle it. Yeah. But on the same flip side, on discussing this as a mechanic, what I don't get is why it's in an RSI ship, and why it's, like, realistically, it should be a criminal thing. It should either be in a pirate ship or a military, potentially a bounty hunter. But even then, I mean, what do you get if you say it was in a bounty hunter ship and they pulled someone out of Quantum and they're innocent? Like, you can't just go and jump in the middle of the road as you drive down the street and pull a car over, like in the real world, because you would get a crime. You'd be a criminal. And so, why the hell is it in a normal ship? Like, it doesn't make sense. You're just going to keep pulling civilians going, oh, no, I didn't mean to get you, mate. I was after somebody else. Like, you're ruining somebody's day just pulling people out of Quantum until you get the one that you're actually trying to get hold of. It's that part of it doesn't make sense to me.
And here's the thing: is are there any other ships? And this is for chat as well. Now, by the way, we're going to with some really nice comments in chat down here. I think I'm going to try and flick through a few of them. There's some good ones. Like, are there any other ships that don't genuinely make sense in the game? Right now.
Oh, wait, in terms of, like, it shouldn't have it, sort of thing.
Yeah. Are there any ships, like, chat? Give me some example, because, like, I was thinking about this.
Well, EMP, I suppose.
Is the Mantis
as well? Like, why should a civilian have an EMP?
Okay, let's just say that one as well then. Let's just say all electronic warfare ships at the moment seem a bit weird. But, I mean, yeah, because you wouldn't...
For a civilian, like, if you've got to think about it, it's like majority of us are meant to be civilian unless you go down a military route. Like, you're flying civilian ships.
What's the name of the police? The advocacy. That would be my only reason why the Warlock would make sense. Why that could have it, because the advocacy, in theory, use the Warlock and the Avenger to be their combat ship. So I would say.
But should a civilian be allowed to have it without a permit? I suppose this is like going down the old.
I wouldn't going in fucking sim, dude. You're going a bit too much into it in that sense. But what I mean is like, keeping it light in terms of does that make sense with kind of lore? Does it make sense with the game? I sniff, like I said, this is where I was thinking about the other day when we talked about it. I'm smelling maybe the first desperation to have ships have mechanics so that they can justify keep making money. And I'm going to be curious to see if there's going to be more ships like this which aren't necessarily quite right, and because they can separate a mechanic just for money purposes only, monetary purposes, because they are so late and they still need to maintain this huge amount of money that they need to make every year. That is one of my biggest worries, genuinely, is that they will start to damage the game irreplaceably, or they will start to damage their own game and have to do lots of mending later down the line because of this desire and this constant high overheads that they've got now, and then they're so late. That's the
on that point, I definitely agree. It's almost like we'll bring a ship with a mechanic, so it justifies the ship rather than just because there is a point when how many ships are you just going to keep adding? Like, you just keep adding and adding ships that all do the same thing. So it's like, but then at the same time, when they did like some questions on it, they turn around and they say like, well, this may be a component that you might be able to put in another ship, which means that it's not restricted just to that ship either. It's kind of, yeah, I know what you mean in that respect. It's like,
do you know what I mean?
Let's invent mechanics. I thought that with the mine layer, though. I kind of felt like that with the Nautilus mine layer a little bit.
Yeah.
I kind of thought, well, there's no.
Yeah, those two. Yeah.
I know you can use. I'm not like you said. The same as it's pushing the boat. Like that came out, or we come up with this concept, an idea, when we haven't even got the mechanics that we're doing now, right? And let's stick a mine layer down. That's like, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you forgot about the land, the base building land claims.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's interesting, like, chat, people say, like, the Reclaimer doesn't work. Now, I would say...
It has a function.
It doesn't work. It had a function because it was built for Squadron 42, and it does have, like, salvage and stuff. I do agree that, but it does still. The 600i is supposed to be an exploring luxury spaceship, so all these amazing pictures on Reddit and stuff kind of makes kind of sense to a degree, but I just kind of like... this one for me, just like, I think you could have done it in other ways in the game. And like I said, I agree. I think it's in the wrong ship. I actually think that ship looks like a way cooler Aurora, if I'm being honest. I was like, hey, can we not just have that like as a little starter ship? That kind of looks cool. Although the engines do look like they're going to be like the Connie and just get blown off instantaneously.
I also get the feeling almost like they're just giving up on multi-crew as well. It's like, let's make this a single player ship. You know, like there's no like, well, why couldn't someone in the back be controlling that sort of the net, and they could have had a computer which could tell them where people were coming on trade routes, and we need to go if you want to intercept them. Let's fly. You know, there could have been a whole multi-crew experience, and instead it's another single player ship.
That's what I'm saying. It could have been a weapon for. It could have been a weapon for certain ships, certain components. You could have had, certain variations on Cutlass. The Cutlass Blue, for example, would have been as a police variation. That would have made sense in my head. That had the component part. That had the ability to interdict ships. That you could buy from the grey market or wherever the part on the to put into it. So you could have your mate sit there in his little thing and getting ready. Like, yeah, we're within range. Beep, like a cool old school kind of like little dot going doot doot doot, and he's getting within the bubble range, and then you guys like ready for fire.
Yeah, exactly. Boom, now activate it, and
sick.
I do also think that, like, going along the component thing, I've seen it in other sci-fis and things like that. I think it would have been better if you placed like a net. You had to shoot these things out, which like they originally said, it would be something you deploy, because that way you could have put several of them out to create this net, and then if you were caught in it and taken out of Quantum, it would actually give you a way to get away from it as well, because your ship, you could shoot these devices. If you could target them, you could run away and flee. Rather than now you've got to defeat an actual ship that's got shields and maneuverability and guns. Whereas actually, if it was just a device, you could have taken that out and moved on your way. And that would have been your automatic natural counterbalance to this kind of a tactic. So by putting it in a ship, I agree on that front as well. I think it would have been better as a deployable thing, and actually looks like you're casting a net sort of thing.
And honestly, I think that's why it smells, again, this is that making money could potentially be damaging the actual gameplay. You know what I mean? Like this desire to make money could potentially, if it continues and we continue to be later and later, it could potentially lead, especially if because they're making their money through these spaceships, you're almost forcing them to have to separate things out. And that's my little worry. You know, I have a few little worries. That's kind of like one of those little kind of like, what's the end result? You know, they talk about like people when they hack games and stuff, or when they implement things like how can people hack it and use it to be bad. I look at it and go, well, how is this now starting to impact the game? You know, 8 years down the line, the 40 million continue to creep up every year. How much you need? You're now, you know, like you said, the Nautilus, the RSI Mantis, what's going to be the next ship? You know, the next, you know.
And it's the same way as well, isn't it? It's like there's mechanics already that we're all still waiting for that hasn't even been touched, like salvaging, repair. You know, we're talking about hacking computers and systems, and like we haven't seen anything to do with those. And then they go out and bring a new mechanic. Like maybe we want to see some of these tier zeros on these other mechanics before you start putting out different mechanics and you know, adding it to the list, like kind of what you were saying last week, which the tech debt or whatever you was calling, you're adding more tech
debt,
to it. Well, every time you add a mechanic,
not this one.
Well, it's another mechanic.
This was old. It is another mechanic, but I think what they've done is they've kind of jerry-rigged their kind of NPC one, and then they've kind of made it so that we can kind of now fly around and do kind of what the NPCs. So the tech is kind of in the game. I think this is kind of, they're shoving it in because, in my view, they're shoving it in now because this will kind of works probably a little bit, whereas the other stuff there probably doesn't work, you know what I mean? And they haven't got it ready. So it's like, well, we can fill in this patch and make it look even more fat and plump and juicy for everyone because we've now added in mining, which we already have mining, but we've just varied it so you can now handheld mining. We've added in caves. We've given you a spaceship, which is late, but we've given you a brand new spaceship. And we've now given you interdiction and another new spaceship. So we're giving you 2 spaceships. And we've given you, you know, interdiction, which, you know, it's like, cool. Okay.
They are pretty good at smoke and mirrors. So at the end of it, they can turn around and say, we've released all these ships and this, that, and this has been added and caves have been added. And then you kind of blinker and forget the bits that they didn't add or remove. So yeah, there's definitely an element of that.
And are the bits really good? You know what I mean? That's the other thing is like people kind of go, like, are they what they're adding in really good for playing, you know, like, and you'll see all the videos and I'll see all the screenshots of everyone running around, and I'll see the grouped up made matches where people run around with horrendous clunky FPS that is garbage compared to any other FPS game, and I'll kind of look at it and I'll go, you know, and then the people justify all this stuff and I'm like, okay, you know, it's like, okay, I'm glad you're having fun, you know, it's like, I'm glad you're having fun. I don't want to knock it. Like, I'm glad you're having fun. But to me, maybe I've got higher expectations, do you know what I mean? Or maybe I'm more like the console person expecting too much of a finished game, and this is an alpha game, and I mean, I just have to accept that, and that's totally cool, and I get that. And so now I'm maybe a bit more temperament to this now, you know, I'm kind of used to it, but it's still, I just go, yeah, but shit kind of worked better before, and now it works shitter now, you know. I'm going to be streaming an old video. I'm going to stream I have one video of where I streamed the old flight model, and I am going to do a live streaming of the whole session of one of my old streams, which I saved, and I'm just going to commentate on it. It's terrible, like my overlays were horrendous back then, but it's going to be interesting to watch it back again, because I watched a bit of it last night, and I was like, oh, okay. Fixed weapons worked pretty damn good, and combat was popping everywhere. So it'll be interesting to talk about it. But anyway,
we won't. We've said, like Dirk just mentioned about interdiction, like it's a new game mechanic, but yet it's behind a paywall. Yeah, we went on about this about mining. Dude. We went on about something else. It's like we won't do it again because it's like it's banging your head against the wall. But you're totally right. It's adding more mechanics behind paywalls. So yeah,
but we've got renting in, so maybe you can rent that ship though.
We have got renting in, and it's also extremely expensive. And then that kind of goes to the thing like Zeus is saying, that if you're sharing your missions and then you're dividing your rewards from those missions, it's gonna take a long time before you start renting this shit. A long time.
You are, and you have to do huge amounts of quantum travel, as we've spoken about this show, the game is incredibly punishing to the player. The grind will be on a level I've never heard of. You know what I mean? In terms of just time grind, like doing very little. Like the other day, I went in trying to join Detox's org, and I just had the misfortune of the fact that he was doing an org battle in, Daymar, and I respawned in Hurston because I was wanting to help do something else, and I had to then, get on the train. Get in, then get on the train, buy the right type of guns, get the right gear. Then, I know it's an org battle, you're supposed to be organized, but it's like, I kind of play in the sense of, I always like games where I do like games where I can kind of jump in and not have to go, it's not going to take me too long to get with my mates. So, you jump in and anyway, have to go buy the guns. So I've then got another train trip, got to then take another train to go to the business district to buy the right guns, then I have to fit the guns, then I got to go back, spawn the ship, take off in horrendous hover mode, which I could barely get out, then get up, then get out of atmosphere. Then I go into like a 12-minute jump. Then I've got to get a respawn at Port Olisar, and then land at Port Olisar just to get the respawn, take off. By the time I got there, they had finished, they had killed themselves, and they are gone. And I was just like...
Okay, so... There's two aspects to that. There's I agree, everything takes far too long, but there is also the element that obviously we are in still development, and you buying your gun and buying this and buying that is stuff that wouldn't necessarily be in, you would hopefully have done that sort of shit before. When you start living in this world, you'll have your equipment, you'll have your guns, you'll have your stuff stored on your ship. So I suppose that kind of step will be taken out of it. I'm hoping
because if permadeath was in, and I would have to go to the lawyer to go and fill in my will and to take my ownership of my previous dead person's body,
and then you'd have to go and sign some insurance documents and tell them that you're about to go and do a very dangerous operation.
Claim
that you
have to file a claim, that takes 12 minutes to wait for the claim to. Otherwise, you can expedite the claim to the next level, and then you have to pay an additional fee for the claim. Oh my God, can you imagine? Sorry, carry on, miss. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Carry on.
So no, I was just saying that it's there are some parts of that session that you had that would be shorter, like things that your armor and stuff and things that you would have. I'm still living in the hope that things like travel times and getting on the train is something that they will balance eventually and realize that it's not as fun as they think it is. That's all I can do. All I can do is live in hope, right? Because if they don't, then I'm not gonna get a chance to do much if I'm doing a small session. It's like, right, literally, if we've got an hour, right, well, we won't play Star Citizen, we'll play something else. It's you've kind of.
It's not really a fun MMO when you ring your mates and go, "Hey, do you want to come and join us and play?" But yeah, where are you? Fuck, you can't come and join us and play. You're on the other side of the world. Okay, maybe next week. Yeah, just start your process now, and then maybe next week we'll do this again. And then they'll ring them up and they'll be like, "Hey, where are you guys next week?" "Oh, fuck, you're on the other side of the planet." "Yeah, we changed plan. Tommy was on that side. Sorry, we forgot to message you to let you know that we had moved." Fuck you. It's like that is not going to be a fun experience. I can assure you.
I mean, we already experienced that to a certain degree when, like you said, we play like Borderlands or something, and if someone out levels slightly, it's like all of a sudden, oh no, hang on, you've done that bit of the story, so you know where you are, and it's like trying to get up and meet together. You want to make that meeting as easy and as good as possible, really. So it's we'll see. Like I said, I live in the hopes that they'll come to their senses and reduce some of this to realize, especially when they start adding more systems and things might take even longer. It's like, oh, hang on a minute, we can't have these massive jump times and quantum times and travel times and slowing you down to look at your mobiler, slowing you down to get out of your bed every time. I mean, one of the biggest complaints when they first had getting in and out of the bed was that the bed animation was too long. Like, it's one of those things. It's like everyone's going, why is it taking me 20 seconds to get out of the bed? And it's like, it's preparing you for the rest of the game. If you can't stand how long it takes to get out of the bed, you're probably not going to stand the rest of the game.
Alt F4, uninstall, and never come back. That's probably the best way to describe that scenario. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the one thing that really kind of annoys me as well about the is like a little bit that would help is the idea that we're supposed to be able to log in and out of our beds in our spaceships.
Yes,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like, if I really want them to get that working, because it was working at one point, and then it's a hit and a miss scenario. That would make quite a big difference because that would make a big difference to exploration and make a big difference to so much of the gameplay. Because I just, like I could then at least. If you're halfway on a trip to somewhere, you can just log out, and I don't know. I just feel like that would
a good
help a little
start
bit
towards it. Yeah. So you're only going to be on the city if you chose to land and log out in the city. Otherwise, you'd be on your ship. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it would just be like Angel. Oh, Angel's in chat. I was gonna say, Angel, good. I was really torn the other day about joining Detox because they was fighting you lot, and I was like, I don't know. I've got friends. I was really torn. I was like, hire me mercenaries. I was like, someone hire me, and I'll just fight for whoever wants me. But it was wasted time because I wouldn't have even got there.
It's like, I'm your biggest threat, but I won't actually get there, so you're fine. Don't panic.
Honestly, it's like the Deadpool scene with the guy on the ice or whatever, or then he's got the steamroller in the water, and he's like, I'm coming to get you. Oh no, I don't know, it's a comedy sketch, but yeah, that's kind of what it is. Anyway,
so things that are coming in 3.7.
Yes.
Let's move on from that one. So we are getting mission sharing, which we just spoke a little bit about. So with mission sharing comes obviously the sharing of the rewards. It's not great when it's not much of a reward, but I mean, see, this is kind of linked to how much things cost. If things didn't cost so much, then how much you earn wouldn't be such a big deal. Like, it's quite nice to just be able to complete a mission together. But if you want to get on these renting ships and stuff, you need to earn money. That's the problem, because all of those are priced so sky high. Like, if they made those a lot lower so that we could actually just test and play the game, that would be nice. But instead they keep wanting to put these big prices on everything, which means we need to earn more money, which means we need to do more missions, which means missions need to not break. Etc.
Can we? I mean, for me, a really important. I don't know if chat. Did they say this? Have they answered this? Can we now sell goods and share it? You know what I mean? Can you carry goods in different people's vehicles and share the rewards for? So there's the missions, but can we share also? If I carry loads of cargo, can you sell some of it and I sell some of it, and you make some money and I make some money, type of thing?
I don't know if the sale of the actual cargo splits. That would be interesting, but I think you're probably a case of having to give the other person money for that if you're selling the cargo. So I don't know. I don't think I've seen or read or heard about that, at least. The other thing that you do share is reputation. So if you've got someone who's a criminal and you want to help them out, you can do a mission that gains you reputation, and if they're in the group, they will then gain that reputation as well, so helping towards their crime stat and reputation. But that also works the other way, that if you happen to be in the group with someone that's got a crime stat and does something criminal, you'll also get pulled down with them as well. So, I mean, it's good. It's good in theory. Both of these are really fantastic, so I'm looking forward to them. The downside is, yes, the amount of times I've accidentally got a criminal status and things like that, you could and this is more trolly than the troll ship, because you can get someone that joins your group and then just goes and murders everybody, and brings down your reputation like straight away. So
never do such a thing. But you could. I mean, in theory. I mean, I remember doing that. I'd creep onto people's ships who were not, like they weren't, and then suddenly they'd be getting shot at by the station, and they'd be like, "Why am I getting shot at by the station?" Oh, it's because,
you're a criminal.
You got a criminal on board. It was never a clue to them. It was never a clue to the people that they were like. It was never a clue. Hang on 1 second.
So so that's that one. The other thing they've got as well is, this is a good thing. I don't know if it's a good thing or not, or whether it's a good thing eventually. Again, it's another thing that, should it be implemented yet or not, I don't know. But so they're trying to make you, if you're going to go down the criminal life, to live more of a criminal life. So therefore, if you have a criminal rating, you can only land at certain places. So I think Even is it just tier 1 or beyond tier 1? Like, tier 1
tier
even,
1.
you
Okay,
can't
so tier
land.
1, you can't land at Port O. So if you have a tier 1 crime stat, from what heard, you can't land. If you are a 3 and lower, you can land at Levski and some of the other places. And if you're above 3 to a 5 or whatever, you can only
Grim
land at
Hex
like
only.
Grim Hex, from what I understand, like the crime place. I was like, well, so long as I just hope that they bring the armistice away from Grim Hex. Like, please do that in 3.7 because I want to shoot people again at Grim Hex. Do you know what I mean? Like, I kind of miss the fights.
That's going to make it
the stuff.
interesting at Grim Hex, because if it's the only place you can land, it's like, do you have honor amongst thieves and work, like, not shoot each other because it's the only fucking place you can land and work together, or do you actually go against each other and then no one gets to land at 5 at a Grim Hex, which could make gameplay very difficult. But see, the annoying thing is with this, what the way they're doing it though is that you can't buy everything at Grim Hex, and so if you want certain guns and weapons, you're gonna be, unless they start adding all those in, you're gonna be restricted on what you can buy at Grim Hex, or even spawn. I don't think you can spawn every ship at Grim Hex, so then you're stuck at not being able to spawn, say, your bigger ships.
Rambo makes a good point. Like, if you can only spawn at Grim Hex as a criminal, like, you could do fast travel to Grim Hex from Hurston.
If you die, and you'll respawn in Grim Hex, yeah.
That would be painful, though. Could you imagine, though, as well, if you're trying not to die? You know what I mean? You're going there to clear a crime stat, or you're just happen to be in there to do a mission.
Yeah, but isn't that the same way now?
Transported to the other side.
That if you don't log somewhere, you can go all the way from Port Olisar over to Hurston and then crash, and you're back over at Port Olisar again. It's no different to that, is it?
No, it's not. No, that's what I mean. It is no different to that. But I mean, if you're using it as a way of fast travel, it's genius as well. If you're using it right.
Well, yeah. I mean, until we get Death of the Spacemen, you're always going to exploit that sort of thing. I mean, a lot of people do it just to get back to Port Olisar or to get their shit. I can't be asked to log here, right? Okay, that'll get me back. And even when you log out of the ship, you get ported back anyway. So yeah, I mean that's a minor thing at this stage. It will happen, obviously. I mean, if you're fed up with getting up in Port Olisar, you can literally go and do something to get a crime stat and then kill yourself so that you go to Grim Hex and then start your way from there, I suppose. But it's.
I mean, I was going to say I'm really excited about the missions that you're going to get as a crime stat, though. We get like an exclusive missions.
Yeah, so they did also say, just before we move on to that quickly, is that if you have got a crime stat, it doesn't stop you using the areas, and that's what a couple of people just said in chat, and just reminding me. But you can still use them. You just can't land and store your ship there. So if you want to go to Hurston, you'll have to park outside and make your way in. And the same as the other places, even Port Olisar, you can park your ship out in space and fly down and hover down and get into the station that way.
See,
but you just can't dock it.
It shouldn't matter if they implemented the mechanic that worked properly, where you could be in your seat, your ship. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't be an issue. You know what I mean? They're making like it's some sort of thing. If the mechanic was in place properly that they're supposed to be, where you can log out of your own spaceship, then you can go anywhere. Do you know what I mean? It's like I just. Get that fixed first, CIG, please. Please.
But then how many criminals, if they leave, like, you're not going to be able to do that, are you? You leave your ship in space outside of Port Olisar and then get out of it to go into Port Olisar to say shop. Your ship is not going to be there on return. And then I don't even know what happens if you can't, if you're not allowed to land on the pad and store your ship, and someone blows your ship up while you're visiting Port Olisar, how the hell do you get out of Port Olisar? Because you no longer have a ship, and technically you shouldn't be able to spawn your ship there. So that would be an interesting one to see.
Yeah, sorry, my youngest is he's the most difficult child I've ever, like, of the two children I had, my youngest does not sleep anywhere like the first one, and I thought we were going sleeping through the night, and now he suddenly decided that he's going to wake up now for the last 2 days at 10 o'clock starving and letting us know instantaneously that he's starving. Feed me, Dad! Feed me! Honestly, it's just, I haven't had a good night's sleep in 2 years. Honestly, guys, if you're out there and you're thinking about it, no. Don't. And if you have a bad, just no. Just no. Hang on for a few more years.
So so that's about getting your ship and things like that. I don't know what's going to happen with all that. It'll be interesting to see. So the next thing was like you said. So if you want to be a criminal, there's going to be some more missions.
Well, they need more missions,
or at least a
'cause
mission you can do.
It sucked being a criminal. Like when I played the criminal last time I played, I was like, as soon as I'm like a criminal, I could barely get any missions. I had nothing realistically I could kind of do. The pain of then clearing the crime stat, going to like this one area where like everyone just trolled, and you had this mechanic where tiny little writing in the corner when you're hacking, you have to keep going back to that terminal or stay within a certain range because it would randomly tell you had to press it again. So it put you in a situation where it's like the easiest camping in the world to kill people. It's just like I sit there and just wait for him. Yeah, he's gonna come back now. Bang, dead. Next person comes in. This is awesome. Next person, stand there. Da, da, da. It was not. I don't think that is very well thought out in truth. But being a criminal kind of sucked.
Being a lone criminal is probably what made it worse.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. So I just kind of. I'm looking forward to this. More missions, more things to do as bad guy. I think is good stuff.
So you're going to be able to hunt the Navy, I believe it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's more hunting NPCs. That's great. Nothing better to hide, mask the terrible combat and make us fight against NPCs. Which
but you can bring friends along.
Yes, we can take friends along to shoot them.
Share the mission. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. You'll feel like a badass. It's like basically playing Pirate Swarm in, the PU, which is, it's great. Like for all those average Joes, it's absolutely fine. It's great. I'll pop in and it'll be fun, and then the Hammerhead will be tricky. When you played against masses of NPCs, it actually is quite a lot of fun because they've got the aim assist on there, the aim lock, which is pretty cool. It's good. It is very good. I'm one of those average Joes, by the way, guys.
One of those average Joes. It's good for them average 100%. Joes.
As I'm referring to myself as an average Joe here. Like I played the other day and I got thrashed by someone who's not an average Joe, and I realized that I know nothing. I have got to go back to school and relearn how to be any sort of decent pilot with the new game. What have we got here? What was it? So that's good. Positive, like more missions for there's nothing bad to say about that in my opinion. Like that's all good. It's all good. No problems really.
So then we got the new attachments coming to the FPS guns and stuff.
This is again great. I mean, if they're confident enough that the attachments will stay on the weapons now and not be broken, and I think that's all really positive. They got the different sizes, isn't it? 1, 2, and 3, and they for different size guns, and everyone was getting salty about whether or not it's a silencer or a compressor or all the technical terminology for a silencer, because it doesn't really silence stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Let's move on. Let's like let Spectrum eat itself with that one. That's what I say.
I mean, to me, it's the more options you can have, the more you can customize your gun. Great, that's what you want to do and enjoy it. I mean, I play Tarkov and I have no clue what bit goes on what gun. And how it all works. So to me, it's like I'm probably just going to mess everything up anyway. Let alone work out what sort of flipping weapon to use and everything else. So
yeah, definitely. So for me, it's like I think it's good. It adds to that the combat, and again, I still think it.
Oh no, I've got a feeling my OBS has crashed. Is it? Oh no.
No. The it still doesn't detract for me. Still, that the FPS feeling is still not quite there yet. But it's hopefully with improved servers and stuff, we'll see some improvements on that. It's just I always find it hard to kind of believe that this is the same kind of team that, in theory, that built Crysis, right? Am I wrong in thinking that? If they hired a lot of the development team from
the FPS.
Crytek, then these guys must have made Crysis. Or am I completely? They only hired us. Did they hire a different part of the CryEngine team? They only hired the guys who wrote the coding. None of the guys that worked on the actual.
I hired the guys that did
Crysis
the
animations.
Pictures. No, I don't.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like,
no, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe chat. You guys know. Like, maybe they didn't hire any of the guys that made the FPS part of Crysis the game, because that was a pretty smooth game. And I played it, and it was very different. Very different. What else is there? Oh, we've got the weapons. They've added some new weapons. Yay! And some things haven't moved. Some things have moved back. Sledge Mass Driver revision has been moved back. The grenade launcher has moved back from 3.8 to 4.0. That grenade launcher, I'm going to tell you, chat. Way back when, if anyone remember, they showed off, probably people don't remember this, they showed off a grenade launcher, and it was originally meant to be a Van Duel grenade, RPG. And that has changed and has moved back and back and back. That is incredible how much that's moved back and changed. The verified off-world laser technologies, the Parallax assault rifle has been temporarily removed from the roadmap, with decisions continue about where it is most likely to land. Off-world laser assault rifle. It sounds like, because you see the new gun with that kind of little mechanic which fires.
Yeah, I did have a
kind of ice thing.
I did have a thing on it, but it seems like Streamables just decided to black screen everything I've clipped. So
Okay.
really annoying.
Okay.
But yeah, so they had the hand pistol that it had the multiple fire thing, didn't it? So you could actually use it like a shotgun.
Yeah.
Which was an interesting concept.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I like the kind of it kind of opened and then it like a cool little. I mean, having played, if anyone here has played Borderlands or watched any streams on Borderlands 3 or any of the Borderlands, you'll know what mad animations and customizations to guns really looks like when you see that type of a game. That's like proper AAA kind of crazy. But it was nice to see something looking very different, because the guns are very gunny, and that was like Star Trek-y, you know?
Yeah, I kind of like, I mean, I've been the same for ships and everything else, anything like that. I feel like if I'm playing a future spacey game, I want spacey, future-y things, not stuff that we've already seen, like could be a weapon that you see now, in anyone's cupboard. So it's, to me, same with the ships. Anything alien-y or slightly different, I kind of like that look.
It did look like a little crossbow, and it does. I'm just nice to, like a kind of old school ray gun. That's what I was looking at. It looked like a kind of Star Trek ray gun. Just needed the original kind of like the ram bit at the end. Like,
the other thing I thought when they were showing those off though as well is like that shooting range. Like, why can't we have that? Why can't we have access to that so we can try the different weapons? Like, that would be nice, wouldn't it? So you could just go and like, I'm gonna try those.
Sevens, Raiders from Maya's stream. How are you doing? Welcome to the Asylum.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us.
Welcome. Thank you very much for the raid. Very much appreciate it.
We are busy chatting about weapons and whether we like, and while we do like the new look of the gun, the fact that it's a bit different from all the other ones, which look like pretty standard assault rifles and guns. It's nice to see something a bit more futuristic looking, which is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome, in fact.
Yeah.
What else did they have on the display?
I think things like but yeah, so that targeting thing, I know we had something similar to that in our hangar, but it would be nice if we could have access to that so that we could actually just stand and shoot some of the guns and just see what it looks like. I don't know, it'd be nice. It's like, I feel a little bit like we're going back to that whole thing where they want it polished, so the patches they want to show us looks like it's a complete game rather than giving us access to these little individual things. That you feel like that would be kind of cool if we could just log in, even under some build, and just literally go in the room and test the different guns just to see what they look like, how they feel, and that sort of thing, rather than having to make a fortune in game to buy them. Star
Marine would be a great location to put the ability to have all the guns on the side. Yeah, well, not even just just the horde mode that they talked about. Like, if you get the horde mode in, to be able to have like kind of like the Matrix style, we're gonna need guns.
Press the button.
Loads in your character. And you're like, okay, we're gonna take one of these, 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 and we're gonna get. It would be so much fun. I would just be like, hell yeah, I'm in on this one. But it's too much fun. Fun would be too detected on that one. But like they do it obviously because they do it like with the guns in the game. They link it, which does my head in sometimes a little bit, because I would always think that the Arena Commander or Star Marine would be an opportunity to that be where you'd want to test the guns and know which ones you like and which ones fit you. and then you go in the persistent universe, and then you figure out where they are to go buy them or something. But
Oh, it started
maybe,
working. How nice.
or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know, but see what chat thinks. But I love the idea of that, like the idea of testing more in in Star Marine and Arena Commander, the weapons and stuff would be great. I think it's cool. I think it's cool.
No,
like we're getting more guns.
Yeah, I love. As I said, there's no downside to being able to customize. I mean, you see things like Tarkov and stuff, and it's all about like having your gun, being able to see different parts of it, being able to upgrade different parts of it, and personalizing. I think that's definitely a great feature. It's just I think for me personally, I mean maybe other people probably find it nice and easy, but I went into the shop just to look at upgrades and I'm like, well, what goes with what gun? And luckily in the PTU you get to have tons of money, so you can just buy stuff, and if you pull the wrong thing, it's fine. But at the moment I could be missing something, but I don't see an easy way to see what fits on what gun and that sort of stuff. So having a little shooting range like this would be pretty cool. Can't we just have it in the side of our hangar? That's what would be nice.
You have that on an 890 jump instead of a basketball.
Yeah, that would be so much better.
you could hire NPCs to be the targets and to hold the targets and to kind of like run backwards and forwards. Pull proper. That's what you should do, right? If you're a rich butler and you kind of like that's your thing. You're kind of a slightly crazy dude that owns an 890. You would get your NPCs. You'd be like pull and send a couple NPCs running down the hall with targets on their back. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, like, is anyone in chat got like a favorite type of thing you're looking forward to? I mean, silencers for me, or suppressors, however you want to call them, are kind of like something that I've obviously wanted for a long time. It's going to be interesting to see the performance of the lights on the guns, especially with caves now. So it's going to be interesting to see like if a flashlight is good or if an attachment to a weapon is going to be better, especially for caves and like, blinding people. So if you do like FPS combat in caves and stuff, how effective that's going to be. It's going to be interesting because the video shows obviously the light coming on and it looks pretty bright. It does look pretty bright. Like that could be very blinding. At the same time, it could be like, oh, that's an awesome. Then we know exactly where to fire our guns at. You know what I mean? Yeah, it could make for very interesting Golden Gloves. Exactly. Mostly waiting for the glow stick tech. Like, what is with the glow stick tech? Like, maybe I'm just missing something. I'm just like, it's a glow stick. It's something that glows and you can throw it. Like, champagne bottle. It's like, I didn't get it. Like everyone's like talking about how exciting they were for it, and I'm like, it's just a glow tech. I don't know. Mrs. left me with this animation rolling, so we're gonna have to roll with this animation. I did like the kind of like this gun though that changes and gives you a shotgun. It's gonna be interesting to see how effective that is, like the charge up and like how powerful. I mean, I would imagine that's got to be powerful. If it's a shotgun round, that could be, you could be running around with those handguns, annihilating people in the face, that could be like proper meta handgun, shotgun in the face. It's gonna be pretty cool. It's for clubbing, you need
Sorry about that.
It's okay, dude. I had the baby. Being cheeky, it makes sense. Yeah, okay, no worries. I don't know. I'm no Army Ranger. I have no idea when it comes to guns. Just give me a potato gun, Give me an old school potato, maybe a Nerf gun, run around. Yay, that's
You're as bad as
level.
me. It's just like, well, this thing shoots stuff. That's got to be useful.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I rely on like Borderlands, where it just gives you a little number in the corner that tells you if it's better or worse than the gun you previously had. It's like, oh, that one does more damage. Yeah, that'll do.
I'm sorry, just looking at the link with someone in glow sticks. Everyone's talking about glow sticks now. We're fucked. There's going to be conversations for the next hour.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's like 890 graves, glow sticks. I'm hoping we'll be able to get adhesives and stuff, so you can like stick glow sticks to people's backs and stuff when they're not paying attention. So you could have someone like going through a cave, and you can just like stick it on their back, type of thing. Maybe make some like funny kind of like things. That'd be kind
I
of
think
cool.
you just want to be cut out. I mean, that's probably going to be enough gameplay to keep people going till 3.8. Like people are just going to like fill the back of like freelancers up with glow sticks, and then as you're going along, just see them
try and break servers.
see how you can make them fall out. All kind of explosions with glow sticks going everywhere.
Could you imagine?
It's like,
Can you imagine like people will do that? Like, could you imagine? That would be so funny. Like those big streamers out there, and if you spent the time all day, you're like, okay, guys, we're gonna fill a Starfarer full of glow sticks for the entire day, and then like someone's like a main stream or whatever, you fly over and they just explode in the middle of his stream, and they're all fighting, and then like all these glow sticks like descend upon the fight. Would be absolutely epic.
That time when you went, I think it was on the PTU when you went and went to the shop and you didn't realise, you said, "Oh, buy now," and it spent all your money on as many grenades as you could handle.
Yeah,
like that's what you need. Everybody, when on the PTU, when you got like 50 million Alpha UEC, just buy
all the glow
as
sticks.
many glow sticks as you can, and then just fill the back of the Starfarer, and it'd be like one of those big kids' playpens where you could just jump in, glow stick heaven, and just.
We can see it now. We've said it all already. We said everything. We said it all already. I know, like, Binary Loop's going to have a field day with it. Like, it's just going to go crazy for it. Everyone's going to be... it'd be interesting to see as well, like, on an 890, because it's got the gravity on the front. So will you be able to, like, create a mountain of glow sticks on the front of the 890?
Fill the swimming pool full of glow sticks as well.
Yeah, fill the swimming pool. Fill the entire ship. Could that be like your meme for your friend? Like, you know, like him, the things that people do to like celebrities or people where they fill the room that they're in full of balloons. So when they get into their ship, they go in, they open up the door or the hangar. You just feel like Detox is going to come. He's going to wake up, spawn one day in his hangar. He's going to try and get out of his hangar. It's just going to be full of glow sticks. He's like, fuck it, trying to climb out of the hangar.
And then CIG will realise and ruin our fun by restricting us to be able to like 2 glow sticks at a time.
2 glow sticks, yeah, because 100%. Because could you imagine like 2,000 glow sticks? You wake up to 2,000 glow sticks in your hangar. I can't get out the door.
Where's the dark mode? Where's the dark mode? We need to like fill up a cave as much as possible just to make it really light.
Yeah, no, but that's it though. That's it. That's the sandbox. That's the beauty of sandbox, is that we do create the fun for them out of the bits. You give us like a little bit of something, and we will make it. We'll just extend it beyond the possibilities.
It's kind of what we were talking about last week about like kids and when we were talking about opening stuff and having boxes rather than playing with the toy. It's like they give us all these all the new ships, new this, and it's like, what does everybody play with? Fucking glow sticks.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care about your new guns, your new ship. Just give me glow sticks.
Yeah, you can see like people just sat there. You can see the developers just sat there weeping, like people like holding their hands on the shoulder, going, "Don't worry, Tim. I know you spent ages on that, new spaceship, and you spent ages on that new mechanic and stuff." And there's like Frank over there winning Employee of the Month with his glow stick. Yeah.
Oh, the same with the tortoise guy as well, though. It's like they put that in, or something. It's like, fuck me, you can pick up a tortoise, right? There you go. And it's like in every screenshot, every picture. And then they took it out because people were having fun. It's like, no, you can't have it.
I bet it's the same guy. I bet Tim's got it nailed. He's like, he put in the turtle, he's putting in the glow sticks.
He's going to be Employer of the Month.
Genius. Every time. Everything Tim touches, it's just like genius. It's genius additions to the game. So yeah, what else is there? What else do we have? Because there is stuff coming. There's a lot of stuff. I'm surprised it's not released now.
The new
3.7
character customization, or say new, the improved, shall we say?
Oh. Yeah, this one I'm going to be a little salt on this one. Okay, so I'm going to be honest out there. Like, did anyone else really struggle with the old one? Was it really bad? Was it?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Okay, maybe it was just me.
It was terrible. Like, to get a character that actually looked half decent, it was terrible.
Really?
Like, yeah, you had 3 faces, and they start trying to 15% from that one, 10% from that one, 5. Yeah, it was horrid. Not that I'm not saying it was usable and something we didn't necessarily need it updated right away, but this is at least a lot clearer. Like, you pick the eyes, and then you go for a head that you want the eyes from, and then you start implementing that into your chosen face. It's definitely a lot nicer.
Maybe it's just like me then, because I found it incredibly simple to understand and really, really good. I could do it like very quickly. I thought it was actually really clever how you merged the three faces and kind of like took a percentage of this one, percentage of that one. I thought that was really. I mean, it's still the same. I know it's the same,
but different.
but different, but still the same. You know, I know that, but it's like.
Well, now you can merge loads of people's because you can go through and do each of the different faces and start
But
merging
you could do
bits
that.
in. Well,
But again,
anyway,
we did it before.
it just wasn't.
I don't know. I
don't
thought it
think
was
it was that
fine.
good.
I'm going to be honest. The only thing I didn't like about it was the fact that it never saved it. That was what really drove me more crazy than the actual mechanic itself. But I'm sure this will be fine to everyone. But me, I'm one of the. I actually like the other one, but I'll see what this one's like. It could be, like you say, it could be way better. I'm sure it will be great. Yay! Great. Move on.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's just nice. It's nice to have it in. Hair, really. I'd like to have better hair. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. That's in real life and in the game.
We gave up on hair a
Would be
long
nice.
time ago.
It would be really nice to have in game and yeah. What else do we have? What else do we have on our bag of tricks? What else do we
That
have
was
on our
like
bag of
a
tricks?
massive talking point. You just gone, don't give a shit. Next. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, did I?
No,
Please tell me
I'm
it wasn't,
kidding.
because I'm sure it wasn't. Fucking hell. We'd be
That's
screwed
all
if
we
that
got to
was.
talk about. That's it.
Jeez.
That's it in a
We'll
podcast.
be
Sorry, guys. That
screwed.
was all we had. That was most of it for Inside Star Citizen, though, I think. There was obviously
Yeah.
another quick look at the Banu Defender, slightly more updated. I mean, again, it's a little bit worrying that 3.7's around, so we can talk about that in a little second. There's the Banu Defender, guys. Lovely. Nice. I mean, I like it and stuff, but it's supposed to be flyable in 3.7. The worrying thing a little bit at the moment is it's on 52%, I think, on the roadmap, so we're still not there. So I don't know how long. I do wonder, I don't know what people's opinions are, whether we think this is going to end up being pushed back to a 3.7X patch rather than coming out straight away.
It depends. It depends. It's now got real competition now with the Mantis. It's been competed against the 890, and now it's competing against the Mantis. So, I think it's cool.
I mean, I wanted an alien ship, and I'm really hoping it's going to be quite a nice one to fly and look good. I mean, I do feel like it's probably got a bit of. It looks bigger than it probably is.
I don't think it's very big. That looks pretty small. I don't think it's.
Like when they kind of make you fly around as if it looks big inside, but I think it looks like it's probably bigger than the Reliant inside, which is absolutely tiny because you can at least have 3 people standing there. But I don't think it's going to be much bigger than that. So I don't know if it's going to feel pretty small once you get in it after looking at the pictures. But yeah, I'm looking forward to at least having another alien, the Banu's first shipping game as well, which is cool.
I mean, for me, it's more like you said. I think it's how it flies. It's how does it feel? What's the benefits versus downside? Like what's its weapons? We know that it's going to be using the Banu tachyons, but will it have a boost of power so it can fire the guns more than obviously regular other people's ships because it's using Banu tech?
Oh, apparently it's in polishing now. So last time I looked at the roadmap, the one that was linked anyway, it was on 52%. So obviously that's gone up, which is cool. That's good. So that means we probably will get it in the 3.7 drop though. So that's good.
I think so. They've pushed it back quite a few patches now.
I know.
They continue to work on it. So
it's just a point that if there was
must
something wrong, they would hold it off rather than hold off the whole patch. I would have thought for the ship.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It'd be interesting to see how strong it is. I mean, it's supposed to have good shields, but not a very good hull. So, if attritions are still on overclock, still do as much damage as they are doing, it could melt in seconds. You know what I mean? Through, once you get those bullets through, those laser rounds, whatever, through the shields, it could melt in seconds. So, if it's following the original description of the ship, I just want to see if you can fly it. They talked about it, how both people can fly it in theory. So I could come away from the controls on the left-hand side and then you would be able to fly it. I'm really curious to see that in work. Do you know what I mean? I really want to know how that's genuinely going to work, if that's going to be in or not. I got a funny feeling it won't be because I can't, but I hope it is. But I'll be really curious to see how that mechanic works in game. I don't know. People who maybe who are already playing in the Evocati, I guess, may have it already. I don't know if they do, because no one will tell me, bastards. They can't tell
Who
us
knows?
anything. They can't tell us anything. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's right, Snake. Exactly. That's how it should. They should all work, right? We should all be able to just, step out, and the other one should take over, and vice versa. There's a whole. Again, this is my thing. Is it's like focusing on what Star Citizen focus on sometimes is just so different to how I would. But I don't a game developer, but I would be focusing on much more, the playability of the game and all these type of things. But they've got the bigger picture, so we'll trust them, I suppose. But yeah, it's just so weird. Like I wouldn't have manned turrets either. I would have all my turrets predominantly, maybe like really old spaceships, but on almost all of my ships, other than say like a Hammerhead, even I would. If I was building a spaceship, I wouldn't want to have my people in harm's way. I'd want them to be tucked in the hole, well protected, and have my guns on the outside being all fully
like on the
automated.
Hammerhead, all these things sitting in your little pod on the outside. It's like, oh, you've got a big ship to hide in. I'm in a little turret. Keep me safe, please.
I would have them all tucked in, kind of a bit further in, tucked behind like heavy armor, plated all around my people. So, and then I would, if I was really doing it, it would all be AI with aim assist working really well.
Aim assist on everything. Why not?
Aim assist on it all, dialed up to 100%. Yeah.
So yeah, that was the Banu Defender.
Yeah, it's
I don't know
cool.
if you guys are
I've
looking
got
for it.
CCU.
I'm certainly looking forward to seeing if it's any good or not. I'm hoping it will be, but we never know.
Every ship I have, Miz, tends to turn out to be garbage. So the fact that I have the CCU is a worry.
Just keep it as a CCU
anyone
and
out
don't
there,
ruin it for everybody else.
I know. I ruin all the ships. The glaive was ruined. As soon as I let go of my Cutlass Blue, they'll release a Cutlass Blue. I know it, and it'll be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, sorry.
That's good. So we kind of touched a little bit on ship rentals, but obviously that's another thing that's coming in 3.7. So those of you who haven't seen it, which probably most of you know all about it by now, but you can rent for 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, or 30 days, and they count on a real-world timer. And you also get insurance during that time, I believe.
Yeah,
as well.
the real world timer. Now, does the real world timer activate from the minute that you've bought it, or does it activate from the minute you've flown it?
I don't know, but it's just. I mean, this is how insurance is going to work as well, isn't it? So we're getting a little bit of taste of how your insurance is going to run, which, like you said, for anything where it takes you long times to travel or the game bugs out and crashes, the real world one is not such a good timer, but I suppose it's just something you'd have to get used to. It's just the prices at the moment are so sky high that I mean, it's hard to say it's sky high because I don't know how well you could make money through, say, like cargo running or something like that, to build up a big store of cash and then start renting stuff. Because obviously the whole point is you earn a little bit of cash, you rent the next bigger ship, which should help you earn cash a bit quicker, and you kind of work your way through it. But it I suppose the hardest thing is if you was flying an Aurora, how long it can take you to actually get a decent ship that will earn you a bit of money. So it's going to be interesting to see those balances. And obviously, we know it's first implementation, so there's no point moaning too much about the costs, other than it'd be nice for it to be cheaper while we test things. But they kind of give it to us like it's not a test bed. That's what I feel like. It's like they're not giving it to us to, go out there and test these things. They're just giving it to us as a game gradually being made. And so all these things are being implemented at a point where it's more gamified rather than testing. And that's what seems to be a little bit of a shame at the moment. Like I was saying with the shooting range, I would kind of like to see it go in a bit of a different direction and give us a little bit more ability to test, like the new mechanics, the new ships, the mining, rather than having to put everything via a game thing. It's the same as the mining now, the hand mining. You have to go and fly to a place to buy the multi-tool and buy the adapter to go onto it, and then I think you have to buy the... Well, if you want to carry more, you have to buy that backpack as well. So yeah, it's all.
Can I just talk about the backpack?
Yeah,
I think
go
the
for it,
backpack's
because
dope.
I
think it's
really like it
really
as well.
cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. I hope you...
But I love Death Stranding. So as soon as I saw, like I've showed it before earlier in the year when I talked about exploration, and Death Stranding came out. They showed us their gameplay and the guy carrying all the kind of the cool backpacks on his back and everything else. And I was like, that's what I want in Star Citizen. I want to have that, especially for exploration. And then I see this cool backpack with all this kind of stuff, and I was just like, great, really cool. Shame, obviously, that it's after Death Stranding, so I kind of look at it and go, they've copied it from Death Stranding. Not a backpack, but just the styling kind of feels like Death Stranding got there first, I'm afraid. But it's like, it's just great that it's in, and I was like, yeah, cool, awesome, really, really, really great. And like picking up stuff and being able to put things and having your own itemized inventory and like all of this stuff, I think it's great that's coming in, and I think that will be nice additions. And it's about time. Do you know what I mean? It's like anything new, you know what I mean? Like anything really new and a little bit different like that is great. So.
Yeah, it would be cool if you could kill people and then take that backpack, but I got a feeling that's not going to be implemented, especially not in 3.7. Could be wrong. It would be cool, but yeah.
The ability to take people's stuff and sell stuff is something that it's not going to be a game changer, but it will definitely be it will be great for the game for sure. In some ways. There'll be a lot of crying on Spectrum.
Oh yeah,
but if you're introducing obviously this whole game mechanics of interdiction and stopping people and trying to steal their stuff and all that, and then not being able to sell it, it's kind of like the last kind of piece in the puzzle in terms of that loop for me. It's like, if I can then steal your stuff and sell it, why do I want that? Will then change the game plan mechanic for many players. So many players will go, why do I want to jump for 20 minutes? Why do I want to do all of this kind of like punishing slow game mechanics when all I have to do is sit at the end and steal their shit and then sell it? Do you know what I mean? That's kind of like, so yeah. I mean, that's going to be really interesting.
It's always good. You're gonna, because the thing at the moment as well, isn't it, with cargo? Can you sell other people's cargo? I can't remember now. I know if you sell it, if you take their ship, you can't sell it if you've stolen the ship. But I don't know if you can actually sell their cargo if you literally take the cargo and sell the cargo. Because obviously, if someone's going back and forth filling their ship up with cargo boxes, it would be kind of cool to, like you said, wait till they're nearly finished, then shoot them and just load your own ship up with all the cargo they've put in the back of their ship. But I can't remember if you can sell, whether it'll label it as theirs and therefore you can't sell it. But yeah, all them sort of things are stuff that would make it, like you said, add in a little bit of game loop, add in a little bit of flavour and interest into the game, rather than keeping it a thing you do once and then you kind of stop doing. Selling other people's cargo at certain locations. Okay, so I mean, it doesn't matter if it's only certain locations. If you can do it, it gives you a good thing to do as a gameplay. Which means if you're going out there and hand mining in caves, you're going to have to be careful when you come to the surface, or even just leaving your ship unattended.
That you're right. I remember, like, they did say that. Yeah, they did say that, and that was probably what was kind of like in the back of my mind. I was thinking that. Yeah, I think it was last week. I was gonna. Well, I can't remember. No, there was definitely something in my mind about that, and now you've triggered that little memory. Yes, I remember that now. I remember thinking that's going to be interesting, where people are going to sit outside caves waiting for people to come out with all their stuff, or people will be like watching. If they make it so that, I don't know if it's a bad thing, but if they make it so that there's locations where gems and stuff are constantly respawning and people know and learn those locations, that's when you'll get spiders. People putting up spider webs and setting up traps and stuff to catch people and shit like that. But like I could say, like, the best places will be at the end. That's why, for me, I was saying, if Grim Hex becomes, if you could sell illicit like diamonds and things like really cool at very good prices at Grim Hex, and you take the Armistice Zone away from Grim Hex, you've got yourself an end place where all hell's going to break loose, because you've got a lot of bad people all hanging out in a very bad place, shooting each other, trying to steal stuff. And yeah, that would be... You got yourself a new jump town is the best way to kind of describe it, and it will literally be a jump town. It'll be very interesting. Very interesting.
It will be.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. I mean, We won't know. We're going to know soon, hopefully, right? Hopefully, next couple of days, could be next couple of hours. I mean, I don't think it's today's because it would have probably been released on our podcast, I guess. That's normally when it happens, I think.
Yeah, it does
It
seem to
goes
be that
live
way.
on our podcast. I'm away in Asia next week, so I
So it's
100%
definitely going to
guarantee it'll
drop
be out next week.
Yeah. So you heard it here first, guys. 3.7 will drop next week because Madness is away, and it's almost. I mean, I reckon your boss probably gets involved with the patches and says, "Look, he's away this week. Drop it now."
I've managed this year to get into the PTUs, which have been probably the most meh PTU ones, and the ones which are actually going to be interesting are the ones that I'll be away again. So
Time.
I'll be watching from a hotel in Vietnam again. It's the worst feeling, especially when there's a ship that I own that's about to be released to Banu, and I'm thinking of owning.
It's fine.
Yeah, thanks. That's great.
You're
That's
welcome.
great. Thank you.
I'm always thinking of you, man.
You're already flying it, you cheeky bastard in 3.7.
Of you. Okay, so yeah, that was basically most of Inside Star Citizen. There's a little bit of Star Citizen Live. I don't know if you want to go over any of that or there's anything else
there's
you
a few
want to talk
things.
to?
There's a few little things. I'm not gonna go too long. We had there was one of the things I was thinking about was like if they did an arm like if you
Holy
remove the Armstrong
shit.
Zone.
Mr. Vertigo,
Grim Hex.
thank you so much for the raid as well, sir. Thanks to both you
wow,
and
check out the
Maya.
love.
Really appreciate the raids.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Woo! Hope you had a great stream. 3.7 out yet? I guess not. They're all like,
They'd probably
"It's
still
not
be
out
playing.
yet." Yeah, no, right? They're like, well, I hope you. We're just discussing a few things. Like, I was looking at the like if they reduce the armistice zone for like Grim Hex, because they've talked about reducing the armistice zone, taking it away, and I was thinking like it would be kind of cool because I watched John Wick again the other day and it was freaking awesome with the Continental Hotel. Like maybe they could do like
Oh, yeah.
a moving kind of 890 evil 890 assassins Continental kind of club, like moves around type of thing, and you have to kind of like get codes every day. This is just me being silly, okay? I have these moments, and you would then get like this code and you figure out where the location is, or you could maybe get an app or whatever, and then you could go there and it's a safe haven. Again, it's also because I'm playing Drake's Uncharted, so it's about piracy and the Liberataria and all this stuff, about having like a place where bad people basically to get together and do stuff, but it's safe and you can't fight each other and kill each other in that area, and you can buy and trade really illicit rare goods, you know what I mean, like stuff you can't get anywhere else, but you have to find the location for where this stealth, whatever this mystery, Continental moves around the verse type of thing.
I mean, that's
it's
kind of what they're going to be doing with Grim Hex to start off with. It's not moving, but it's meant to be like the place for the criminals. But then you've then turned around and said that you want it to be no armistice, so you can shoot and kill people. So then you're not going to have a safe haven for criminals because you'll just shoot everybody that's there. But if they keep that in, then obviously you can use it as a safe haven. So I mean, that's what I mean. It'd be kind of interesting there. It would like they're turning Grim Hex almost into that sort of place where it's like, right, the scum live here, and it's where you go to sell your stuff that you've only got. But I mean, when we had more trade with players, that would be so much more fun. So you'll be able to go there, a reason not to shoot people then, because it's like, well, what's so-and-so got when they're there? And then doing trades within each other and finding, like you said, illicit goods that aren't legal that you can then trade with other players of the game would be really cool. So yeah, looking forward to that. But I don't think...
too much less snakes, too much fun gameplay.
Yeah, too much.
It's too much work. It's not allowed. We have to sell another ship with one mechanic. That's like, there's too many things in that to sell. There's nothing to sell. They can't sell anything. Like, what can we sell from all of that? Oh, crap, nothing. Oh, never mind.
We could sell a special ship that's the only ship that's allowed to land there.
A black I could imagine. Could you imagine the meeting where I proposed that and then someone's going, I like what you're thinking. I like what you're thinking. Okay, here's an idea. We're going to sell a black 890. That's what I'm getting from this. That's what I'm getting. 890. We sell it for £1,500. Boom, done. Good thinking. You sat there going.
And we can have extra damp in the shield so no one knows it's there. A bit of stealth technology on it. Yes, that's it. Let's do it. This is good. We're getting there. Let's brainstorm, folks. We could have auto turrets on the outside. Do it. What's your idea?
You can see the person like, oh crap. No, terrible idea. That's too much gameplay. Where's the money? I'm just thinking, have anyone seen The Boys? Anyone seen The Boys?
Yes.
The TV show? That's what I'm thinking. The two guys who are basically pitching the girl's uniform. And she's like, I'm not wearing that. And it's like, okay, think about this. This is what we're doing.
It's empowerment.
That is what they do.
It's empowerment. It's going to make you feel better. It's like, this is your image. This is what you want people to see.
That's it right there. Just imagine that every time you use a new concept ship, just think they've had a meeting and someone's put something amazing out there, and they've got those two.
You've got them two soon, and then you've got someone there going, but we haven't got mechanics for that. And they go, yeah, but think of the bigger picture. Once they're in, we'll be able to do this. And then they're going,
sorry.
Okay,
right. My jaw's hurting. I'm laughing too much on that one. Right. Yes. Okay. So Inside Star Citizen Live was actually, I didn't get this, and it's this is my fault. I was supposed to clip this, and I am ashamed to say that I fell asleep and then I played another game today when I was supposed to do this. But I'm gonna have to try and take my word on this one, okay? Squadron 42. Sorry, Sean Tolkien was talking about the Arena Commander, how they're making the new map bigger. And he mentions that they're making it bigger, because at the moment it's a smaller area. And he said it's not very nice and stuff, so it doesn't make sense when a space game to make it so small. So they're making like a soft zone or whatever. You can kind of go out and you have a bit of time to get back. But they're making it much wider because he said along the lines of the spaceship's so fast now. And then it was that really got my interest, and I need to go get the links to the videos, but it's because David Coulson, I think either the week before or the week before that, who's the flight model person, talked about how they're making the ship slower. So I was like, you're making the map bigger for slower ships, Sean. And then it got me thinking, like, again, is that like a normal, like, is this again, these are examples of the miscommunication between all the studios and how that stems right from the top right the way down to the bottom and so on all over the place, and having so many studios the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing,
unless when he's playing Arena Commander he doesn't realize that the little markers where you're supposed to be flying, and he just scrolls all the way up and goes cruise controls. Fuck me, you're fighting in Arena Commander at 3,000 miles an hour. Wow, it's just like going top speed, cruise speed combat. That's what he's doing when he's playing. Doesn't realize about the limits.
No. Probably. I've seen some of them flying, and I definitely think they don't quite. They're like, oh, I can do that, can I? Oh, yeah,
I have to admit, I've done it a couple of times, not because I didn't realize, but like it's like taking ages to get to someone. They're like miles away. So I'm like, right, okay, cruise up, and then I'm just like, and it's like, oh shit, this ship isn't stopping. I turn around, boost the other way, and I'm just going back and back, and then bang, blow up on the boundary. So yeah. It's not because of the speed of the ship, it's the amount of drift they got. It's like when you realise there's a barrier, you can't stop in time, so we've got to make it bigger because you're just drifting for half an hour, first of all, when you hit the barrier line. So
now we're going to have even better fights where people are on the other side. So you have to get to the other side. You then suddenly go, shit, I'm halfway through the map. I better start hitting the reverse. So you then turn in. So your fight basically will involve you going in backwards into the fight to try and stop yourself. It would be like, as he goes backwards past everybody and disappears outside the map, and then they'll be like, oh, he's coming back now because he's.
And you get messages going, stop fucking jousting, fight me properly. He goes, I'm not meaning to. I'm coming back this way.
It's gonna be awesome watching all these people. I'm being critical.
Does that mean on the racetrack they're going to make the rings bigger as well, so that when you drift round you can get in through the rings a little bit easier?
I have no idea, dude. I don't know. Like, I mean, they talked about, like, he mentioned something about racing, and I was like, yeah, good luck with that one, Sean. That's going to take a while to get that right. And then they mentioned obviously Squadron 42 is the priority, which we all know. Squadron 42 is priority, then it's Persistent Universe, and then the Arena Commander. So they're basically saying the reason why this has taken so long for us to do anything, it's not a priority, you know? And I kind of like, part of me kind of goes, if it's not a priority, then why are you even doing it? You know what I mean? Like, I still kind of go, you know what I mean? I know it sounds silly. And everyone says, well, it's because it's one of the things on the, you know, the tick the box, you know, the things that they said that they would do part of the roadmap goals and stuff. And I'm like, well, I could probably point to a lot of other things on there that haven't been done. So why this one has to be ticked off? Why not do this at the end?
Yeah. It's kind of weird because it's also, like they said, mentioned about the SATA ball thing as well. Like, they're saying that they're still going to do it, but because it's not a priority, it's not being touched at the moment. But it's one of the things to be happening. I don't know.
I mean, it's a bit of a question. I mean, it's not like why ever do it? You know, it's like a kind of, if the PU was always if the Squadron 42 was meant to be your focus, and the PU is always meant to be like, why ever do it and not do it until the end? I mean, I'm sure that's kind of, you know, there are reasons. I mean, Arena Commander was fun. It's a test bed for things and all that stuff. I get it, but it's not important. It's like you're taking maybe valuable resources that could be used on the Squadron 42 and the PU, right? Anyway, it was just a question. They've added. Oh, this is the thing. They said they've added directional to the AI. So I don't know what this means, but the way I was looking at it is I've added a note here to say this sounds like they've just brought back what we already had before, which was if you actually looked at an AI in the old days, you had a little triangle that indicated the direction for where that ship was flying. So you knew he's flying off in that way. So I know where he's going to go, so I can kind of follow him. They got rid of that a couple patches ago. I think it was like 3.0 or whatever, or they got rid of that ability, so it made it much harder, especially in combat, to know where someone was going because it's dark and because you're 2,000 meters away and you can't see the tiny pixels. It's really hard to know, so you have to wait a bit, which didn't give you any chance to really intercept somebody effectively. So with this now, I'm guessing that's what it is. I don't know for sure, but to say they've added something that was already a feature previously kind of bugs me. It's like, no, you've brought that back. You know what I mean? It's like
still counts as added. It's not there now, and I put it back. It's adding.
I know.
It's a bit like interdiction, though. It's like when the MP, like you said, they kind of put the interdiction in, took it away because people moaned about it and said it's pointless, and then just randomly they decided to stick it back in again. All of a sudden, it was like, oh yeah, NPCs are going to interdict you again. It's like, what? You haven't, and then without really changing the mechanic of it either, they just put it back.
Yeah. Interesting. So Bad Soviet reckons the AC should be a priority. So for combat, that's interesting. But wouldn't you say that rather than having, I would argue, wouldn't you want to just have an Evocati kind of style AC or like a PTU type of style thing? So you don't actually have it part of the game. You have it as a separate group where people who want to go in, and then they have devs just purely having combat, and you can communicate. Yeah. You purely communicate with, like, they talk about this dev team, the special team that they're building for combat. Like, in my head, it would make sense is that you'd actually have that would be a separate build purely for people, like experimental build that people would download, and that's your AC build. And if you want to be like a combat pilot or wherever else, that's where you could download that. You go in there, and there are devs there all the time who are a part of that team. You can then play there all the time, fighting, giving them all the information, talking to them directly, really creating that, and you could do the same for Arena Commander type thing, for Star Marine, like just giving them that feedback. And I wouldn't limit it to just like exclusive only people. But do you think, I mean, the best way to describe it?
Do you think that maybe that's why they've done a bit more work on Arena Commander to try and entice people back to do the Pirate Swarm, to do things like that, so that you can get, so that maybe they'll get more feedback. Maybe that's what they're hoping, they'll get more feedback on combat if people go in and start doing Pirate Swarm and stuff. Because obviously, like you said, the combat's not really happening in the PU anymore. Things are getting spread out, which makes it more difficult for people to have combat in the PU. Maybe that's what they're... I mean, if it was, I wish they would say it as well. Like, we want people to go and do AC so they can give us feedback on flying and mechanics and combat. Like, it would make sense to try and encourage people to play AC to get more feedback on combat. I mean, obviously it goes a bit... Maybe they don't want to say it because it goes against the grain of what they were saying, which is everything's now on PU, and they want to see that. But, like, I think if you're testing they seem to be struggling with the mechanics of the flying, right? It's something they've changed many times. And so you feel like you need a
Getting the
more
balance.
focused test on just flying and take away the other stuff. You know, like take away like the doing the missions and stuff. You just want people that are doing combat in ships to get that good.
Yeah, and like I said, if you made it so that it was open, so like with Satisfactory, the game that we have, they have Satisfactory, the game, and then they also have this other thing on the side, which is called the experimental build, which you can download.
Yeah.
I just think that they could have done that for like Arena Commander and Star Marine, and you could download those, and that's somewhere, and then constantly have devs in there. You know what I mean? Like really have the dev team in there to talk to. You know what I mean? And have them, you know, play, or maybe not even all the time. You can have them like Saturday at 8 between 8 and whatever, there will be developers in there, you know, playing and hanging out with the community. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And everyone knows at that time that's where the devs are. And then they, you know, maybe they could pop in now and again randomly if they wanted to. I just think there's an opportunity there. You know what I mean? I just think, and if they're just dead serious about using it as Bad Soviet, they could probably utilize it they could have done it in a better way. But I'm no game developer. This is just all theory craft and dev.
What I would do.
This is couch dev. This is all couch developer talk with zero knowledge. I can see all the people who are developers just like sat there like this, just going, fucking madness. There's no clue. It's just like no idea. I'm like, when my boss tells me to do something and he has no idea, like the amount of work required to do that, that's exactly what you guys are experiencing right now when I have ideas. We've got added direction to AI. Yeah, Dying Star, so they can only do one of them. I think they can't do any of the other ones because of
it's starting off with Dying Star. The other ones are doing something to do with adding a planet because there's no planet there.
Yeah, because they need to add like a real planet or something in there. They've got this is kind of cool. Like they're adding AI bots. Just like someone said, like want to add AI bots to Star Marine for Horde mode. But they said they want to do it, but it's not coming in. But the map is coming in. But not the this is the thing I always find really funny. This is so Star Citizen yet again. Like they're implementing the environment, but not the intended mechanics to go with it. I was like, that sounds a lot like the spaceships. The spaceships are coming in, but none of the mechanics really seem to come in. Although Mantis, yay!
Yeah, but I mean, so his excuse kind of was like for not putting the AI in there was all this like, well, they want it to make sense, and so that it would be picking up, you know, you'd have different variations, different guns, different builds, different heavy armor, short armor.
Oh, very cool.
And this is something that still keeps nagging me, is like they always, what we hit on earlier in terms of it being a test bed rather than a finished game. It's like, why restrict it to, like, you're going to go all the way down this path of making it so that it spawns heavy armor guys, medium armor guys, light armor guys, female characters, male characters, all the different weapons. Like, why not just put a single male character in medium armor with one type of gun? It at least gives you a test bed to start with, so that you can actually start testing the AI horde mechanic or that sort of game mode, and then worry about putting in extra people, extra things, extra weapons, and just do it iteratively, like bit at a time. Why wait till it's like you add everything and then you add it all and then it's so much to test.
Anyway.
Like what we've said before, when you do that, you dump all that on at once. There's so many bugs and so much bug code that it's like, well, how do you differentiate? Well, this isn't working because this character's bugged. Like, I mean, Kills made a little thing for my streaming of this factory, and it keeps crashing, and we're trying to work out why it's crashing. And it's literal simple, like 10 bots versus 10 bots that go around killing each other. Now, you trying to work out why that's crashing is hard enough. You then start putting variations in that's 10 times more things that you've got to look at of why it's possibly crashing. Like, why is it crashing? Is it crashing because the heavy armor bloke's spawning in? Is it crashing because the light armor bloke's spawning in? And so, yeah, they kind of wait and want to pull it all in at once so they can show us this polished and all look, wow, you know, all this game feature all at once. I just think maybe they should try and get the basic bit done first. Let's just stick one, because that was their excuse for not giving us female characters. It was like, well, it's not ready, so we're going to give you just the male. So why couldn't you do the same in the Star Marine? Why can't you just give us a single male, work out how the spawn points are for the AI, and then let it go, do a horde mode? Anyway, we don't know. We're not developers, and maybe there's a reason.
As the couch dev, I mean, people say like because they want to put dynamic, is again they want it to be like we said, that polish, that kind of, that experience, the finished game experience, whatever. I don't know what it is.
Why? Because then it's not what it breaks, and then you've got to redo it anyway. So.
Yeah, like, is there anything in the game? I can look back on it and go, is there anything in the game realistically that they've ever put in that's not needed like 6 months really of polishing to try and get it back to a state where it's, or that's been put in that's broken? Mining went in that was pretty good, but it still had bugs. It still needed to be improved on or fixed on. I'm trying to think of things that have come into the game that are, that work. Yeah, I don't know. I'm with you. I think they could have put something in. I mean, it's a bit like the missions that we get on Hearthstone. When we do the capture the base type thing, and you have the AI guys kind of run around there and stuff. I would have loved to have had that type of them in. Them in the game in an environment where we're getting really good frames separated from a PU, so I could really see how good those animations are. Because everyone always tells me, I watch loads of other people's channels and streams, and everyone says, "Oh, when you get a first fresh, clean server, all the animations and the AI works really, really well." Or when you play in offline mode, which some people did in the old day, you can get a real sense of how good the game is without people, breaking the game over time or memory leaks or whatever. So it would have been great to be able to take that out, drop that into a horde mode on that map with those guys to see how good those animations really are, to really truly see how good that team, and to show off their work. Because then I would be able to stand here and go, I really do bitch on about Tony Z's team and how they are the only team, they're the most slacking team in Star Citizen. If I was on their boat, I would have twatted them off the boat by now. Because they're clearly not rowing hard enough, and it's like that's, for me, that's kind of, that could be that ability for me to see it and go, oh wow, awesome, I'm wrong. Look how good those animations are. Look how smooth those NPCs' movements are. Look how clever they are. Because again, I'm playing Drake's Uncharted and I'm watching these NPCs, and yeah, sure, there's a few moments they're a bit dumb, but on the whole, they're pretty damn clever and pretty sharp. Other than visual, they're terrible at seeing me. Because I could pop up like 4 feet away and they're like, ooh, oh no, there wasn't anything there. It wasn't a person standing in front of me for a few seconds. That's pretty terrible. But other than that, they're pretty good on the hiding for cover and all that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I would like to have seen. I'd like to see them get there. It seems like I could have just dropped that in. Drop them in.
I mean, they've done it on the, like you just said, they've done it on an outpost. So
yeah,
could have gone in the map, surely. And then
silly, yeah.
Anyway. Who knows? I'm not a developer,
whatever.
But maybe.
Who knows? But it's called the new map is called the Good Doctor map, and then there's supposedly it's based on Dr. Kior. I mean, I got this from Super Matt Brother Ryan. Okay, so he speaks with a northern accent. All right, so I had to kind of like get the translator up. But Dr. Kior. I think Kiora. I was like going Kiora, and then I was thinking the drink, but my dyslexic brain's terrible.
I knew that's where you're going with that.
Anyone remembers? Everyone knows that. Anyway, Kiora. That's all everyone's going to think now. Anyway, it created it created a cultist thing supposedly, and then it got me thinking. In previous podcast we've talked about religion, and it's kind of weird that they don't have religion in this game, because humans just are built on tribalism, and religion is just something we've had ever since the dawn of time, so it makes sense to be lore. And this person with a cultist kind of thing, maybe there is something there in that kind of like creating like a religionish type of thing. So that kind of maybe answered something that I was that we talked about before. And there's new audio as well, which I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
And team deathmatch. We don't have a team deathmatch at the moment, do we? We only have elimination and capture the point. So I heard Sean say team deathmatch a few times, which got me excited about, because that's really cool. And then here's another incentive for why people might want to play Arena Commander. Make it so that you can earn rec, that you can buy rentable ships in PU.
Just make you earn alpha UEC by playing it, yeah. If you want people to play it,
alpha UEC. You know what I mean? Like if they made the currency like rec, like they did back in the day, if you played Arena Commander and you make more money from racing, like back in the day, if you did racing, you'd make loads of more money. If you want people to get in there and test those things for you, that could be a really quick way of allowing people, especially if renting is going to be expensive. It could be a good way for people to, make a little bit of money.
But then that's it. You go back to the whole thing we were saying earlier: is how much they actually want us to test it, because they put things so far behind paywalls. Like, are they actually after us to test it, or are they just giving it to us to go and play with and say, "Well, you go and have your little bit of fun"? Are they even wanting us to test it at this stage? Is it just them giving it to us? Who knows? But I think. Yeah, I don't see. I thought that for a long time though, when they had Rec separately, like, why couldn't it all just be the same currency? And renting when they had the renting a ship for Arena Commander, it would have been nice if that was just a ship that you rented and you could use it in Arena Commander and in the game as well. Like, why keep it separate?
Yep, I agree. We said that. I mean, that was back on the Addicted days. I think we talked about that stuff. Jesus, going back. That's going way back when. Yeah, but that was something that was mentioned many times, was like, why on earth do I have to earn rec? And then there was the token thing, which is kind of relevant to like the rec, the way that they're doing it now. I was always curious to see if they were going to do a token thing on renting. So it would be like, once you get in the ship, it activates, and then it's for the whole 24 hours for that single day. Yeah. But it seems to be like it's going to be activated, I assume, from the minute you purchase it. It'll have an instant.
They stopped it the same way as that's what originally LTI was going to do, and then it's like, no, that's not going to work because people are going to have insurance from, not LTI, sorry, just like the limited time insurance was going to be. They said for ages it's game time, and then it was like
it's game time.
Then they realised, oh, hang on a minute, no one's ever going to pay insurance. It's real time. It's real time, and it's like, so I think now they changed it, now they realise that I think everything will be real time. And they say it's to keep it simple, but it's not. It's to make it so that it's not a pointless mechanic, basically.
Yeah, agreed. Team deathmatch, medical gameplay. Usual. It's coming in the future. I kind of like, as soon as I hear, we're working on it soon, but I just start to yawn and go, all right, move on.
It was more that there was this thing. To me, is just, it goes back to a little bit again about slowing everything down, making everything more clunky. I mean, we've played that, like you said, that Remnant the other day. When you want to heal someone, you just go up and you heal, and it pull out the item and heal. Like, now they're saying they're looking at making it so you physically carry the med pen and then you use it. It's like, it's just another step in doing something all the time. Like, can't anything just be a little bit gamey where you can just run up and heal and it'll automatically pick the pen out? And because like, they seem to think that that's bad, that you automatically pick the pen up and then stab yourself with it. It's like, I don't see what's wrong with that. Every other game I play does that. I'm sure when I played, Breaking Point and Wildlands and all that lot, you don't have to physically get the med pack out to then use it. It's just another thing to give you another thing to do to get to the end result of what you want. It's just,
But it gets the jollies off the sim fans, though. That's what they love. They love all of that kind of that stuff. So, it's like, I don't know. They take it to realism, bring it back to fun. Is kind of like what they say. So in this case, I'm assuming that's what they are saying, or is it just a whole load of guff? Just to try and just kind of like cover it and say, well, it's really complicated and really difficult. We want to try this, we want to do 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 this. But they're not doing anything, you know what I mean? They're really doing something completely different, but it just shuts us up and gets people to talk about it. It could be like clever. They figured out us. They figured out the backers, and they know exactly how to shut us up by giving us loads of stuff to kind of circle jerk over. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's not done.
Yeah.
So
I bet you somebody said, we'll call it a silencer and we'll put it in. And that will keep everybody busy, all of them busy in Spectrum for at least 3 weeks discussing if it's a silencer or a suppressor. Best thing ever.
Give them something to talk about, yeah.
No, it's not a silencer. And then somebody will say, well, actually, in this game it is. And if you consider it actually does silence and suppress at the same time, so technically it's this. No, it's this. Blah, blah, blah. No. Yeah, perfect. They do that with other things as well, I'm sure. Strategy.
Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors, baby.
The next thing is actually pretty cool. I look forward to this when they eventually get it. I know it's not in yet. They said that they've got a lot of it worked. When they can say they have, whether they have or not. But
this one is something that's again been like we talked about this so long ago. I was one of the I think when I was a first player in the game and I heard about this some of the ships that were in game when I first played Arena Commander and I heard about like the Super Hornet. I remember going, oh, can I get in your Super Hornet? You know what I mean? I could say, can I get in the turret gunner? And back then you could get out of your ship in Arena Commander and then fly over to the other ship and then get in.
Yeah, and they were talking about that
thing.
on the IFCD thing.
Yeah, and they're saying how they basically said that, you know, dual ship loading into with a friend is something like, for me, how awesome a gameplay mechanic. Like I was overthinking a little bit because I was thinking how great it would be if you could have like match modes where, you know, you are the hammerhead, for example, and then, you know, and then the other team, like team matches, right? Your team is the hammerhead team and the other team is like attacking the hammerhead to try and win. And you have to kind of get your team all in the turrets and you all spawn into the hammerhead. And then there's a mission. There's a different type of mission there where you have, you know, or you could equally do it. So either play against PvP, against people, or you could play against NPCs, waves, again, horde mode. You're either attacking the horde to get to the hammerhead, or you're the hammerhead defending against waves of Vandal or something. You know what I mean? It would be. They've got so much
Arena
potential
Commander
there.
have that where you could just team fight anyway? So it's kind of what you're going to be able to do, right? So that's what they're saying. What you'll do is you'll join a lobby and then you'll assign what you want to be. So you can either be in a ship's turret or you can be in your own ship sort of thing. So technically, I suppose you could do that. You could get a hammerhead. People could join in the turret, and then the other side could turn around and get in a couple of hornets or whatever and take you on like that way. So I think I'm looking forward to that. That will make Arena Commander a lot more, like if you want to do multi-crew gameplay, a lot quicker because like we talk about spawning in, getting on the ships, getting all that to work in the PU, this would be a great way to be able to just jump in and do a bit of group play without having to meet up and sort all that out in the PU as well. Plus, I presume you can do it in like Pirate Swarm and stuff. Like it seemed like it. So like if you had a Hornet to do Pirate Swarm with the turret, you'll be able to join someone and be in the turret or something, which would be cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, it's like if you get your mates, there's 4 of you, you know, you could get, you know, 2 people fly the Hurricane. And 2 people fly the turrets of the Hurricane, you know, and you can kind of go zimming around in the Hurricanes. Or you can take, you know, we're going to go take a Freelancer out, or we're going to go take out a Reclaim. I don't know how they do it, but there is so much potential multi-crew and multi, you know, facets to kind of like that would make Arena Commander a fascinating place as well, because people could fly in with some of these bigger ships, and if they took aim assist off, I don't want to talk about aim assist again, but just take aim assist off of the bloody ships, fixed, and put aim assist onto the turrets, you would then have such an interesting combat scenario in Arena Commander, because you would then have the turrets would become really quite good. You know what I mean? Because Amos is pretty decent. So suddenly you just need to get your turret kind of around, you know, the vicinity of the ship, and you're going to get those hits. So that would turn those freelancers and those other things into like cutlasses and things. It would make combat in Arena Commander
a lot more interesting. A lot more.
So good. So good.
It'll also help like give some evaluation to, is it better to fly one person and turrets, or is it better to fly multiple ships, big ship, small ship? Like, you know, it gives you all these different scenarios that you get to test and try. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. And it's something that's been like, it's been requested and spoken about so much. And they, like I said, you could kind of do it before you could get out your ship and then get into other people's ship and kind of do it a little bit. But it was so clunky and took so long that obviously people really didn't do it. So it's like you do have to make it easy and streamlined and simple. It's just like anything, like anyone queuing to buy something. Everyone's been here. You've been in a queue for so long, you leave the queue. You know what I mean? If the queue is enormous and you might have this one item and it's a huge fucking queue to buy something, and you just go, oh, sod this, and you just walk away and you leave it. That is the whole point of that, of Star Citizen's job and UI and all these people's job, is to eliminate that bit from happening, is to make it as seamless and quick and easy, especially in Arena Commander. If this is meant to be your you know, arcadey game, even Sean referred to it as this is more arcade, so it should not be too simulated. You know what I mean? That's the worry. That's where then we get this conflict. Sorry, I'm going on a bit here, but this is where you kind of then, because my brain starts thinking, then you get this conflict of wording. It's like, it's going to be arcadey, but then we just talked about medical gameplay that would technically have to go into Arena Commander, which then needs to be simulated. So then you getting this. Again, it's like we get this game
Mixed.
that's arcadey, simulation, trying to it's like trying to fit a square puzzle, a square peg into a circular peg, you know? It's this constant, we have this constant fight, and it's going to be going on, and it'll work sometimes, but then it'll be broken, and this is going to be going on I'm going to be talking about arcadey commercial game going on forever. This is
Until
gonna be
they
a big
make
thing.
a full stance on it. And I suppose their stance is we make it real and then, like you said, reel it
Square
back.
pig. Hey, it's got to fit a square pig
In a
into
round cow.
into a round pigsty. Oh, okay, you cow, Jesus Christ! Wow. Okay,
It makes as much sense as what you were talking about.
true. Hey, okay. I know, man. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
I don't know.
I blame my
It's
father. He was terrible without all that stuff. Yeah, sorry.
I don't know what we're saying now. It doesn't matter. It was irrelevant. It
Doesn't matter.
It's whatever.
It's
Star Citizen.
It's going to be going on arcadey so not really arcade. I don't really say arcadey, but I just say commercial. I always say I prefer to say commercial gaming versus more simulation gaming, because commercial gaming is
game
generally
versus simulation. It's
game
probably
versus
one way
sim.
because
Yeah, there you go.
Sims
Yeah,
are.
okay. Game versus sim.
If you can, Sims, then I'll all these Sims people turn and say to me, "Sims a game as well, it's just a simulator." Whatever.
That's why I say I like to make
whatever.
them feel special, Miss. That's why I say if I say commercial gaming, they feel like they're in an exclusive club, a bit like the Gold Room, a bit like the Millionaires
Smoke
Club.
and mirrors.
It's all smoke
You're
and
all
mirrors.
special. It's like,
Yeah, we just tell them they're
it's like when
special.
you're at kids, when you're at school, isn't it? And you give everybody a gold star so you feel special. It's like, but we've all got one. They're no different.
We're all winners.
You're all-
You're all winners. What was it? What was it? Somebody said. Oh God, it was so funny. Someone said, "You're the last winner." That was it. You're the last winner. That was what someone said. I was like,
You're the last winner that's passed the race line today. It's okay.
you are ultimately embarrassing that child, and you're embarrassing yourself. Shush. He's a
So
loser.
are you talking about Dad's school sports day?
Get off the-
Is that what you're
get off
talking
the-
about?
Dad, pretty much, yeah. Sports day. I was like, he's a what are you talking about? He's a loser. He's a loser. He's a loser. He's a loser. He's not going to be remembered because he was third, and he's second, and no one really cares about second. He's the winner. He's going to be remembered. Stop namby-pambying these children. You're ruining their lives for the future. They need to know.
You can tell
be
who won
winners.
the egg and spoon race at the sports day.
It's called competition. Anyway, sorry. Just the last winner. It's like, come on. That's terrible.
And then you see some other kid still running that's really slow, and it's like, well, actually, he's the last winner. He's just not finished.
Exactly. It's just unbelievable. Yeah, exactly. It's just unbelievable. Anyway, sorry, off topic. But that was kind of, unless there's
That was
anything
it.
else, I've got any questions.
Oh,
that was.
we have one question actually.
Oh, we've got one question. Wow, that
Yeah.
person's brave.
No. It goes back on actually something we was talking ages ago, so we'll ask it.
Oh, sorry.
You're number one, Kingsley. You're number one. You're a winner.
Number one,
Kingsley
baby.
asked, now that we have decent weapon customization, how much customization would be too much for Star Citizen? I personally wouldn't mind Escape from Tarkov-esque weapon customization, but others say it's too much. What are your thoughts?
Okay, firstly, I'm going to have to just pause because I've just thought about it because Snake Eater is military. Could you imagine if they did that philosophy in the military, or when they're doing the training, going through basic training, when the last person's struggling and all the guys shouting at them all
You're
going,
a winner.
You're a winner. You're a winner. You're the last winner. Could you imagine? Like that? Like, oh, you would be creating the best military force in the world right there. That's for sure. Oh my God. Honestly, could you just imagine? That would be a fantastic, funny sketch to do, like to have the opposite, like of a drill instructor trainer, like in a military king, who's like a modern, like as if he's from a primary school, going around and handing all of them, oh, the guy's like struggling at the end, like, here's your little medal, here's your little trophy, well done, congratulations. Oh, like really timid and
You're an
shy
Arrow
and polite.
Cadet. You're an Arrow Cadet.
You're a winner.
You're an Arrow
You're in.
Cadet.
You're
You're a
in.
Special
You're
Forces.
in.
You're special. You're in. Yeah, you're all in. You're all in.
Oh man, could you imagine? Right. Anyway, sorry. The question was, if you don't mind, I was too busy chuckling to myself of just the scenario how that would look like. in my head.
Oh, man, what, you want me to read it again?
Sorry, read it again, please. Sorry.
Jesus. Kingsley
Sorry.
asks, he says, now we've got decent weapon customization. How much customization would be too much to our citizen? I personally wouldn't mind Escape from Tarkov-esque weapons. Customization, others say it's too much. What are your thoughts?
Well, Escape from Tarkov does amazing customization. I've seen Snake Eater, he's in chat playing it. I've seen a few other people playing it. I know Salty Mike plays it. I've seen him stream it a few times. I've got the game. I played it a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of the Royale type of games. I'm more into my arcadey Modern Warfare
You played
stuff.
it with us a bit, and it just made me laugh because all you did was just whinge every time you said it was like loot simulator. It's like we were just going running around looking for loot all the time. We're not doing anything. Didn't shoot a shot, and then he got killed. Then he got killed by an NPC.
He's like, the wrong games. That's why I'm a console pleb. I realized that I may as well just get a T-shirt that says I am a console pleb. I realized that I'm coming to the terms. I'm not a that's not me. Like but then like I love the new Modern Warfare, like all the customization that you could do with the guns, and the kind of like the perks and the twerks and bits and bobs that you can do with it and stuff. So is there ever too much? There is if it doesn't work.
There also is anyway. I think like a lot of customization is good, but you can have too much. If you start like having to, you can change the pins on it to make it a little bit quieter and, you know, like turn some screws and get, well, I want carbon fiber screws to make my gun slightly lighter than it was before or something. It's just. Yeah,
you mean that kind of like level of like a car, like, you know, like Gran Turismo, where, you know, you can go in and you can adjust like the springs and all the, you know, you can tune your car, every single thing. You could potentially change the springs, like you said, in the gun, or
it's just that's too much, I think.
If Star Citizen go down that road, that would be a bit scary. I'm not going to lie. But it depends what.
At the moment, we just want them to attach a scope and it stay attached.
Yeah, just scopes staying attached. Like we said, silencers, suppressors, compensators. You know, I think again, it's that whole kind of like, let's just do the basic bit first and do the basic part really well. Then we can move on to the next stage, maybe if they want to add like alien tech, because that's the thing is there will be aliens in this game. We already have the Vandal and the Jean and the Tavarian and those things. So I'm looking forward to seeing some more of their weapons. Do you know what I mean? Like, kind of like, we haven't seen any of them. The Banu we're going to have, and the Banu are supposedly trade around the verse.
We saw the Vandal's spiky thing, didn't we?
We've seen the spiky thing, exactly. So, and then we know that some of the industries create replicas of stuff. So who's to say that they don't do a little bit of splicing, you know what I mean? And then and that for me then creates more interesting again. We know the Nomads as well. They're kind of like nomadic and take bits and bobs, and shipjackers are supposed to have like, you know, armor pieces and stuff. So, you know, their guns are going to have should have a different vibe as well. You know, bits of this, bits of that. I'm hoping they do it like the armor, you know, like they do it so that you can really, I don't know if they've done it like that, but it would be really cool if they made the skins of the guns like the armor, so you can have parts and you can really change the aesthetic and look. And I actually am all for loads of customization. That's just me, okay? I'm a big customization fan. I love customization, so the more, the better. That's my view on it. But again, that might be just too much fun for Star Citizen. It's like, I don't know, but I'm all for it. Like, you know, like I think like all these people here, most of you guys are all PC people here. I literally just got my PC, brand new Ryzen 1, and I just plugged it in and managed to get everything working. And it came with this thing. I'm gonna bring it up on stream.
This thing is called a power
plug. I've never had
plug.
this shit. I never seen. Yeah, it came with this thing. The power plug.
What is it? Oh, it's power.
It came with this.
I know what you're going to hold
like. This thing, which is like a little RGB light thing, and like I was like,
he's trying to turn the TV on with it. It's like, how does this work?
It's color coded. It's awesome. And but I was playing with it. My little boy thought it was amazing, by the way. And because like suddenly my thing's doing all sorts of weird RGB color things and like all sorts of fancy stuff. But I know that's a thing that's really important to people. I see it all the time. All their things, and it's like that level of customization to your PC. So, you know, more customization, colors and customizations to weapons is like, it's a gimme now. You know, it's just it is. I think Star Citizen has to. And be really cool as well, like really cool. So yeah, sorry. I think I think more the better. That team is a good team, so I think it's coming. I think they are. That's that whole guns, apparel, ships. That whole team are a good team. It's the, I hate to say it, it's the Tony Z team that we want to knock out the boat. Get off. We need someone new. It's taking too long.
Kingsley said that's it. That's your kid's Christmas present now. He needs a $2,000 RGB PC because it's fun. Make the lights sparkle.
I just sold it. I hope I just sold it for everybody. That's all you need. Forget about anything else. Oh, God, I'm terrible. I actually got it for a really good price. Does anyone want to know? I got a Ryzen 3700X, whatever it's called, with a 280 Super graphics, 280 Super RTX thingy, 500 gig thingy, 500 gig, whatever it was. Pretty good. NXT case, whatever. I got it for, it was 1,600 quid on Amazon. I went for a risk I would never normally buy, like
There's
a PC on Amazon.
builders in the chat that are just crying in their hands at the moment. It's just the RTX super thingy with the 500 gig thingy, and it had a Ryzen X thing, and it's got lots of stuff in it. It's got components and motherboards and wow.
Well, it's going to be partly built by my fair hands because I had to improve the RAM. The RAM wasn't very good, so we bought some new RAMs. But it's an MSI kind of all MSI build, I think. But it was made by Cyber Power PC, so he pretty good.
He bought it. Sorry, not brought it. God, where's my English gone? He bought it pre-built because he didn't want to build it himself. Except for he's going to change the RAM in it. He's going to change the power supply in it. He's going to change... No, he's not changing the graphics card now, are you?
I've got to put... No,
and you've got a capture card in
anymore.
it. And so you're pretty much building it other than sticking the CPU.
A little bit. I mean, I saw Salty Mike building his. He had thermopaste. He accidentally spilt thermopaste onto something. I was like, there's no way. I would be sat there with probably like a beer thing in one hand. Like old days would have been me. Would have a cigarette in one hand. I'd be smoking a cigarette, probably have it behind my ear. I'd have probably like a couple of beers just to kind of like ease the nerves, just to steady the hands, as it were. So I'd probably have a couple of beers, probably half used beers with a couple of cigarettes in the beer cans, and I'd probably have the gear over the top, and I'd probably have like a pile of crap around me. I'd be literally terrify anybody. You know what I mean? It would you just look at me and just be like, this is an accident. This would be like those pictures where you hear health and safety. Just take a photo of Madness about to do something and then cut it out and then ask people at like interviews and say, so what is wrong in this situation? Please circle the 10 hazards.
I can already imagine the first thing you'll probably do wrong. You'll get the tube, like a syringe of thermal paste, and you'll just think, oh, so I got to use all that, have I? And you'll do the whole syringe on the thermal paste, right? Well, you don't waste any. Let me cut it open and get a little bit extra.
Yeah.
Hot thing. That's thermal paste on the CPU done.
Pretty much, probably. Yeah, that's probably pretty much how it would go. Yeah, no, it's there's a reason why understanding limitations is a good thing, I always say. So yeah, PC build, pre-made, but it was a good deal, a good price, and I was terrified it wasn't going to work. I only just switched it on today. I bought it and it arrived on Friday last week, and I just switched it on today. I just switched it on today and we got it to work. So
I got a box of wine delivered today, and I'd opened the box before I'd put it down. I knew I was in it. It's just wine. It's like bullet.
Yeah. So yeah, it works, and that's the most important. It came with everything as intended, because it's always worrying when you buy anything on Amazon or anything. It's like, is it going to be as advertised and all that stuff? So it was. So I definitely recommend, if anyone's doing it, will get a review and we'll see if it's good. It seems to work. So now I've got to spend all day tomorrow stripping and breaking it, because that's what I do. I always seem to somehow break things. So watch this space. Watch this space when I have 3 computers in pieces and none of them work. Oh, God. Right. I think that's it. Any more questions? Or I think we are done. I don't think I got any questions myself. No. I think I had a topic, actually. I had a forum thing here, which was the rover. Oh shit! Yeah. Oh crap! I didn't. Oh crap! I'll save that one. No, I'm not here next week.
We'll
Anyone
save
seen Elon Musk's moon base? As we're talking about like science fiction and stuff. All right, let me see if I can. Sorry, miss. I've got to drag it out from my general on my Discord because it was. Did I have it in there? Or did I? No, I didn't put it there, did I?
What did you put on?
No, I didn't do it. Ignore me. I save it to my phone and I can't be bothered to do it. No, but anyway, if you go check it out, Elon Musk, SpaceX, they've done like it's. Let me see if I can chuck it in our Asylum channel quickly, or you can maybe Google it.
That's
Maybe
the
just Google it.
in-game
Liz.
one. You've got the in-game screenshot of Star Citizens.
No. If you go, sorry, hang on. I think I was meant to. Again, I was meant to do something and I didn't do it. If anyone's, oh yeah, here we go. I got it here. But let me attach this to Discord. I'll drop it in the Asylum. Bear with me, chat. This is where we could do some music. Asylum. I'll put it in admin. There's nothing in there. I don't think that's there. I'll drop in Asylum. Where is it? Because you were talking about RSI. You were talking about the RSI ships that don't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like the rover, the RSI rover, kind of seems like the design aesthetic of it now seems a little bit military for what is meant to be like more of an is it meant to be more of an exploration type of company, or is it a bit of a mix now?
RSI, it was
yeah, Robert Space Industries.
Well,
it's if you actually look at it, I was thinking maybe it should be more of a military.
Which
the
one
rover
of
should
these
be more
pictures
military.
did you want me to show?
It's the first one, the one with the moon base. This is the SpaceX moon base, and it's got me thinking about the Pioneer, and like maybe for CitizenCon. And like something that I again, like we were talking about game mechanics not being shown. And one of my biggest grumbles a lot of the time is, it's a lot of talk about the game mechanics, but it'd be kind of cool sometimes to see a bit more. But this is Elon's idea of what his plan and vision for the moon base. Yeah, there's that one, and then there's the other one where looking down. It's a bit further up. There's like one looking down, like it's a square.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, underneath it. Sorry. Oh, yeah, the one underneath. There's a couple underneath. That's to show the rover. His design for the rover doesn't have any guns on it. That was the other thing I was going to say. His rover looks pretty cool, but the actual base, I thought it was kind of dope, like settlement building.
Well,
and
that's what we're going to get with like you said, the Pioneer. Yeah, because that's all square.
Yeah. And that's what I was, and I saw that, and I was like, that looks to me, if I was envisioning how the Pioneer is going to work,
That's how it's going to build it.
That kind of feels like that would make sense. Now, would it build it all like that and drop it all like kind of like like one of those puzzles that are made out of plastic that you cut out to build an airplane? I don't know. Or will it be, separate, smaller pieces, and then you can kind of like build them together, and then it had the landing pads, which I thought was cool. And it had roads as well. That was the other thing. I was kind of going, there's roads there. They built roads onto the base. So I was kind of going, we desperately need to be able to build roads and stuff. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the Pioneer is concerned, I just don't think they have a clue. It's a bit like not the Retaliator, the other one. Reclaimer. The ship's been sold. The idea's there. They don't really know. And that's what I think. Yeah. It's like, the Pioneer's going to go with going to build the pod in situ, and then it's going to drop the pod. Like, if it's only building one little easy hab at a time, to even just build that, it would take you either lots of Pioneers or a long time. So yeah, expect things to change. Yeah.
I just read Night-Kai's comments about the Enterprise being better armed than Small Moon. That's probably about right, actually. It's a spaceship. What is the land? But I've seen the shuttle on the Enterprise. These little lasers. It doesn't have torpedoes on that little sucker.
It just gets them from
the land vehicle.
It's like the cargo Argo is almost like their little shuttles, just it's got a couple of guns on it.
That's very true. No, I just kind of, I don't know. I'm just looking at the rover, and I was kind of going, when I saw the Elon Musk one, and I was kind of going, I felt like maybe, you know, if the weapons were better, you know, maybe all you need is like just a couple guns in there, like, or maybe there'll be more land vehicles like the Drake, but a land vehicle that's not got guns, not got a turret attached to it, you know.
Yeah, and
More vehicles
at the
without that.
moment we seem to be
Especially
getting
land based.
everything with at least some sort of form of firepower, except for the cargo. It's like it's almost like they're imagining that we're going to be living in an extremely hostile space for Star Citizen. I mean, the fact that everything's got guns, like you're saying, it's like we can't have a ship that doesn't have some form of defense for itself because we're all going to be living in really hostile times. That's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But then it's like, yeah, a lot of people everyone seems to just talk about just want to be cargo runners and kind of, you know, get salty
With
about
guns.
being attacked all the time. Yeah, with guns, cargo gunners. Yeah, but even to be fair, the Caterpillar's guns are like size 1, so like the most useless guns in the world. So, okay, that was it. That was my last little spiel. Really was about that, and then. Oh, there's some really cool pictures out there on Reddit.
True,
There's some
like,
very cool pictures.
We'll be playing with other real life players. I need to be armed.
Yeah, true. I guess the last thing is I didn't realize that you actually get a crime sheet when you're a criminal. So it lists down your crime.
That looked cool.
I was like, and I don't know if that's in game. I think that's in game now. I didn't realize that. I was like, oh well, if that's accurate, that's really nice. I really like that. I really like that. And then there was and then what do people think about you know, the explosions of our spaceships? Are they procedurally generated or are they always the same? Because I saw like the 890 blow up and it was pretty unspectacular actually.
Procedural, I think.
So it can be random. You know what I mean? They have like it does have like different ways like
I think
to blow
so.
up.
Yeah.
It's not just one way all the time.
No, it's like depending on where you hit it, I think, and what bit you shoot off first. Same way as you can shoot like one of the Cutlass's engines off and it'll come circling off on its own. So yeah, it just depends on where you hit, I think.
Okay, because I wasn't sure, because I was just looking at the 890s and every time I've seen them blow up, besides the cool, it does the added effect that was added by George Lucas into the remakes of the Star Wars, where the Death Star blows up. Like the first time the Death Star blew up, it was like, you know, it was like pretty up. And then he went and digitally added this amazing, like it's this huge like blue thing that kind of extends off of it. And I was like, oh okay, that seems to happen for the 890, which is kind of cool. But I was just big chunks, you know.
Yeah.
Again, that's probably more realistic, I guess. You know, it wouldn't disintegrate. It would break up.
Well, it would, and like if you shot one half of it, that half is more likely to crack off, and then that would blow, and it wouldn't necessarily set a chain reaction going down the whole, whole ship. So yeah, like I said, I think it is different ways of doing it. I think.
I was just curious. I wasn't sure if it was like if it was random, like every time if it changed. Because if it does, that's freaking cool. Like if it changes, that's very, very, very cool piece of technology. So respect to those guys. I mean, I've seen a lot of videos they showed about the guys back in the day showing things blowing up and stuff. Yeah. But it's always been, you know, this is the point where the gun's detached. This is where the wings break. This is where, you know, I was wondering if it just was randomized.
I think the break is standard. I think the explosions you see may well change. I think.
Okay.
I don't think like if a wing comes off, I think the wing will still detach at the same place. Or did they change that? Because I know there was a bit where they were saying like, you know, you could do the damage by like writing your name with the guns. I don't know whether you can saw off a difference. I don't think so. I think it had to snap in certain places.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like people saying it, Black Intellect was saying, like, you know, you need the chunks to salvage, right? So that makes total sense. So
that's why they don't want everything just instant blowing up as well. That's why things will change. Like, got these cool explosions, but if you want to salvage things and keep things, or I don't know whether they'll ever do it so that you could snap like a ship in half and one half would still have people on it. But
could you imagine? Could you imagine, like, if the engines on the Connie are really, really, really good at selling? All you need to do is just
guys, you're going to finish me off? No, we're just taking your engines. Bye.
It's literally like dolphin hunting or like shark hunting. You're just taking the spin off. That's all you need. We're literally, you can imagine it, can you now? Lefties are just going to go horrendous. They'd be like, oh my God, we're encouraging hunting of endangered kind of animals within computer. If they've got no one else to outrage, we can outrage in computer games. Goodness me. Horrendous.
Right. Well, that's a good
Right,
point
I'm
to
done.
end it. Let's do it. Let's finish. All good.
Finish. Peter. What would be a space version of that? Someone give me a suggestion on YouTube. The space version of Peter. Endangered Connies. Need new letters. Oh, God. Right. Well, we started now.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to end it
Yes.
here.
Thank you.
Another great
Yes, thank you
podcast.
so
Thank you. We went on for much longer than we always choose to.
As always.
As
again.
always. But yeah, thank you for the hosts, HC Vertigo and Maya. Very much appreciate it, guys.
Great.
And thank you for
Thanks,
all the
guys.
follows and that.
Appreciate the love.
Yeah, it's brilliant. As always, this is going to be going up on YouTube as soon as possible. So exclamation mark YouTube if you haven't followed the link. Go there, watch it. Catch up on our past ones if you really want to. Don't know why, but you can. But yeah, make sure you go and give us a
It's
follow
so
and sub. There are some good discussions.
See
on
how
there.
true. See how accurate we are and how woefully terrible we are.
But yeah, otherwise, thanks, guys. Very much appreciated. Way to sell it. I know. It's good. There's lots of good content there. Honestly,
He's
go watch it.
terrible.
Go watch it.
He's
It's
terrible.
only because you make them like 3 hours long.
I'm sorry. we need someone. If anyone's really good at editing and wants to go in and trim out the good bits, please let us know. We could desperately need someone. If someone really has the passion for it, let us know. We really could do with that.
But yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks very much. And we'll well, I don't know if we're going to be doing it next Monday. I might be. You're not here. I may well be doing it with Mac.
I won't be
Depends
here.
on the kind of content we have. Mac's agreed to come on, so we may have Super Mac Brothers on next week with me. Yeah, hopefully.
3.7's
We'll
out.
see if
Just
3.7's
play.
Yeah, so.
Just play, yeah. Cool.
Uh,
Peace out, everyone. Should we throw the raid over to anybody? Who should we throw it over to?
Maybe.
Who's on? Anyone I know?
See if you can find some. Anybody want to go on raid?
Star Citizen.
Okay, guys, we're gonna go. I'll go and host someone anyway. I'll send over a raid. I'll just go onto our Outlet Scroll scheme.
Scorpion is on. Scorpion's just underneath us, and he's pretty good.
Okay, let me go and see if I can find him instead.
Scorpio. Scorpion.
How do you?
He's. I'll give you his name in chat, shall I?
It's why do people have names where you can't type them?
There you go. Copy and paste that.
Where did you put it? Oh, there. Okay.
It's in chat. There you go.
That one. Go there,
Cheers,
guys.
Benson.
Go. I can't type.
Well,
There we are. Okay, guys. Thanks very much. Go and show them the love. Go and say hello from us. And we will see you when we see you, hopefully next week. Otherwise, goodbye. Good night. And make sure you get your PG tips.
what the fuck is that? I don't know. You outrageous.
Kind of weird.
Outrageous.
Say before you could
so
say
funny.
anything else.
Yeah, that was
Holy cow, man.
outrageous.
Asylum. What's
Nice.
going on? Asylum on the loose. What's up, Bunsen? What's going on, guys? Welcome. Did you guys have a show going or something? I must have missed that. Boomerang laser. I know, right? It's weird. All right, you guys know what to do. Get your scorpions in chat for.
I can't hear a word he's
folks
saying,
over
but-
at Asylum,
He
pretty
is.
please. Exclamation point Scorp or exclamation point love.
Cool, good for him.
07 Scottish. How are ya?
Sweet. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, we got.
Bunsen, of course.
We held on to a lot of people did again.
Yeah,
Like slow,
yeah,
very
'cause
slow drops. As always,
I
you'd
didn't
expect people to
realise,
drop off.
I mean, you know, you got people that are already watching. They don't necessarily come and tune in. Like you get the few. I mean, we started off with I think like 28ish, something like that. I think
Yeah.
without any
Yeah, it
raids,
was-
so that's pretty
yeah.
cool.
I know.
Then I think Maya boosted us, and then Vertigo with a
Yep.
big raid as well. So yeah, pretty cool. We've
Yeah,
got
good people pop in.
followers again. I don't know.
It's just consistency again. Like 2 weeks in a row, people know you're here. New people. Like I said, there's a
8
whole group
follows.
of new people
Yeah, yeah.
watched us. There's
Oh no, more
a
actually.
whole
9,
group
10.
of new. So, you know, they will come in, they'll follow, if they like it. And that's it. It's that consistency you got to stick to, as we all know. And we go away for 2-3 weeks. Then, like I said, next week I would say if 3.7's out, play it with Mac on this channel, or play it with Bok or whoever. Get them on, play as a group of you. Or if you want to talk about it, if it's not out, you can talk about it. But I would definitely keep the show going.
Yeah.
Do something on the channel, whatever you want to do, because we're slowly. Our channel's already. What's the channel numbers up to now? Followers, 167 followers.
Yeah.
So it's slow, but I never expected it to be quick.
Well,
it took me fucking 3 years to get near to 2,000 or whatever it is, without any real
and
giveaways.
that's playing on it as well.
It.
Like with that, doing just the podcast, you're only going to get whoever's available on the Monday, really, for that. So
yeah. Exactly. So it's going to take a bit of time, but that's okay.